And we're live.
Yeah, so that's when the gloves came off and they start rolling around and all that peanut butter.
All the peanut butter.
Yeah.
No jelly.
Yeah. And then the only thing I was left saying is that bacon be raw.
That bacon be raw. We're not here to talk about your porn career, buddy.
How are you doing this weekend, Randy?
I'm alive for a Monday. It's a Monday. It's not even a Tuesday. It's a Monday. But yeah, I could use the diversion. I've been stuck doing commercial stuff. I was working on this flyer for the Saginaw Con all day. I even lost track of time and was late for my class today. It's all right. I have an understanding coordinator there at the show. But yeah, here I can show you. Let me grab my camera, bring it around to my other system here if I can stretch this cable out far enough. No, not there. That's a lamp. I don't think I can make it. No, well, I'd show you the flyer, but I just can't make it. I'll have to transfer it over. But anyway, yeah, I've been working on that flyer all day. I've got one great big blank spot open for the guests. I got to pull over a few logos and stuff and fill it and then expand it out to 11 by 17 and get that printed. I'm going up there on Wednesday in order to spread them around, get that promotion rolling for that Saginaw show. So do we have a link?
Yeah, I'm sending it to you right now. And I want to gonna welcome our guest for
email it. It's a special edition of Industry Talk.
That's right.
Industry Talk. I'm waiting. Did you send that link?
Sending it right now.
Okay.
There we go.
We can always put up the other one and see who bothers to jump in. Got it?
Yep.
Wow, it's a long link. And there it is. Especial.
Yep, Especial.
Indie Volt. Especial. I'm moving me back just a little bit here so I can get that coordinated.
So anyway, we said this is a special. We usually don't go live on Monday, but we decided this is a nice Monday to go live on it.
You said you had a bunch of juicy gossip you wanted to talk about.
A bunch of juicy gossip.
We figured if we're going to talk juicy gossip, we might as well talk about it out in the open.
That's right.
Unlike some people.
That's right. So, had a lot of time. Just finished up Motor City Comic Con 2019 out in Novi. 30th year of the show. A really fantastic show. I had a good time. 30 years. Show doesn't look a day over 5. So it's really nice to have a show going that long in your home state. It's really exciting. And it got bigger this year. They expanded, added some new and was changed the floor plan up a bit, which allowed for better traffic to get through, more traffic to get through.
Did it? It allowed for better traffic?
Yeah, I mean, the aisles in Artist Alley were wider this year. Usually they're kind of tight.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Okay, it's been a while since I've been there.
Yeah, the aisles were pretty big, and I was impressed with that. And even when it was crowded, people were still able to flow through. You weren't bumping into each other. I don't know how things were on the older end, but their amount of celebrities they had at the show really increased quite a bit. So they had like one whole section kind of dedicated to celebrities, like over to like the far, I guess that'll be right side of the show, depending on which way you came in. If you were an attendee, you probably came in and all the celebrities will be over to all the celebs will be over to your right. But I mean, the show was massive this year, and I was really happy. Oddly kind of proud. I mean, that's my home state show, and it's grown. That was kind of cool. But I got a chance to talk to a lot of publishers. Some of them, from growing companies, and the indie industry has some problems. It has.
When does the indie industry not have problems?
Oh, I didn't know the problems were this pervasive. I had no idea.
Widespread?
Yeah, I had no idea. Did you know, Randy, that most indie publishers, and I'm talking about outside of Diamond, outside of Diamond, uh, don't order more than 50 units per title?
That most stores don't?
Most publishers, when they have them printed, most of these publishers aren't ordering more than 50 units per book, per title.
Who told you that?
I talked to 3 different publishers who told me they keep their numbers low and they all hit this 25 mark. A 4th one told me he orders 25.
Now you need to tell me that again, because that's not registering right. Are you talking publishers don't publish more than 25 or 50 issues at a time?
They don't order when they print, when they have them printed. They're not ordering more than 25 to 50 copies
to be printed.
Right.
Who's doing that?
Well, that's the beauty of anonymity. They won't. I can't tell you who.
Okay. Well, they must be incredibly small, and they must do it only for the. I need 50 more copies for the show.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
I think a little bit it has that, but
because even when I print on demand, you're laughing. Even when I print on demand, I'm printing 100, 150 at least.
Well, I thought about it. I'm like, well, maybe I should print less. Maybe I should print less. Maybe I should drop down and get that. I understand back in the 90s it was you couldn't print less than 1,000, but now a lot of these different press companies will let you print 25 and up. But to find out that some publishers aren't printing more than 25 copies was alarming to me. And it's like, well, they don't mind selling out. They say they would rather sell out.
Well, that's that's might be Valiant's publishing expertise. You must be talking incredibly. I guess that's why they call it small press, right?
Yeah, I guess.
That's way small. That's way small.
Randy, what would you say if you came into a company and found out that they only print? You've been a publisher, an editor in chief. You come into a company and find out that they only print 25 to 50 copies of per title. Or do you change that? Is that the first order of business to change? Or
I don't know. I'd need 25 copies just for myself. I don't know what they're talking about. Let alone sell to a client or sell to a store or whatever. That seems a little silly.
Does it show lack of trust or lack of belief in the product?
Well, if you're operating on a shoestring, you can always go from 25 to 25 to 25 if you need to, I guess. Mm-hmm. That seems kind of silly. That's why Samedi does it on newsprints, because his per unit cost is so low. When he goes on newsprint, he mass prints. They all come off of a big web press.
Who's as a publisher, and you've been there, so you purchase tables at Comic-Cons, you've put down the money. Has there ever been a situation that you heard of where the publisher has the talent put down money to be there at the show? Purchase the tables, or
I don't know. Everybody works different. All depends upon the shoestring that you're operating on, I guess. Hey, if you want to do this show, you're gonna have to pay for your own table. That seems a little, I don't know. Maybe I just don't know how these kids work nowadays.
And the best that I've heard from this weekend at the show, I was talking to a couple of people who were disgruntled about their current publishing deal for publisher, and they told me that they are ready to walk away from the company, and they are wanting to.
A lot of these companies, work as small knitting gossip circles. So
sure.
If you're outside of that circle and you're not being treated very well, you're probably looking for other things. But that's why I always did a lot of self-publishing. It was because I knew who the boss was, and knew I couldn't quite fire him if I wanted, and knew who to blame if anything went wrong. You know, it was all me. There wasn't anybody else to point a finger at.
Well, they're upset because they said that their publisher is not doing what he should be doing as a publisher. And they also feel that they said that he's their words, not mine, but he's full of BS, and he's inflating numbers.
No, welcome to the business.
Yeah. I mean, that's
You know?
and they're always going to.
It's not how big you are, it's how big they think you are. I guess that all ties back down to only printing 25, 50 copies at a time.
But if you I have a question for you. Or well,
yeah,
I have no problem. You know, if you're going out there and you're making the public aware of how big you'd like to be, or you're maybe increasing your scale to the public. Hey, we're the newest, biggest, baddest company around. That's fine to me. But when you start doing it to when your employees, that's where I take an issue with it. You know,
it's not how big you are, it's how big they think you are. Everybody.
Shouldn't you say the hype for your customers, not your employees? Because I mean, if your employees think you're doing big numbers and they find out that
everybody
all those boxes you're shipping out are empty,
everybody operates different.
Yeah,
you know, is there a publisher out there wasting money shipping boxes? Shipping's expensive.
Well,
I doubt somebody's out there shipping empty boxes. They could be saying the
boxes aren't being shipped, but the pictures are being taken of.
We moved 150,000 of this comic. You pretty much know he's not accurate. When you know DC's lucky if they can move 6,000 of a Vertigo title.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. Everybody does business different. If you're not transparent with your people, though, you're not going to get very far.
Yeah, I think that
that's just the way it works. And even when you are transparent with your people, it usually gets you shit deep in trouble. I figured that out when I was doing Arrow. I'd call up somebody and say, dude, we promoted your book. We as best as we could. The orders came in so low, we can't print it. I'm sorry. I can't afford to spend the money to print your book. That put me in the doghouse more than once. And pretty deep too. It was one of the main reasons I got out.
What was the magic number to print?
Comics. Believe it or not, back then the magic number to print was 800. You know, at 800 we broke even on a 3,000 print run. So then there was only one book we printed 2,000 on, and our per unit cost skyrocketed so much it wasn't worth it. You know, our break even point was still 800. So I'm like, dude, we might as well have printed the extra 1,000. Of course, I still have a basement full of boxes that have 250 a piece, most of which have never been opened, of a lot of Arrow product and a little bit of Massive product still. I've got a couple of cases of the first 3 Tales from the Aniverse that I haven't opened. I've got my last case of Shock and Spank the Monkey Boy special from, I think it's 96. I just broke into not too long ago. And I think I've got a case of Owasso Taco House Funnies that I haven't opened yet. There's all sorts of other little Arrow cases in there I haven't touched that haven't been opened. That was all overstock. So, but we were always, it's just like Flint Comics. We were always treading water and walking that thin line. It's just that, we had a couple of 1,000 extra comics that we could hang on to and stash and sell at shows. Of course, we were printing all newsprint back then, and we weren't doing print on demand. We were doing large web black and white newsprint books. You know,
I think that for me, there's again, I'm a much smaller publisher, but for me, there's.
I hope you've actually run across an anomaly of the people that are doing 25 and 50 at a hit, because that doesn't seem to be feasible to me. Even like I said, even the print on demand books that I did, I printed 75 HeroBot books, but that was a big, thick book. That was like $3.50 a unit for a 56-page color book. I had to charge $7 on the thing put $7 on the cover in order to break even. The other black and white ones, I'm still spending like $1.80, I think it was, on like the Lindy Jack special book. And that was on bright white paper. I wish I could print that. I'm still thinking about going back and coloring that and putting that on newsprint. But I would, I'd have to print a minimum of 2,000 or 3,000 in order to justify the cost. I know how much the print costs are on the preservers book. They print 5 and 10,000 of those every time they do it, and they're not spending a lot of money. They have less than 20 cents an issue into each copy.
Yeah, I
go, and put that up against your print on demand, and see how that works out for you. You can get 3,000 books, 24 pages with a slick cover, printed in color on newsprint for, I think it's under $3,000. I got the estimate around here somewhere. I'd have to call it up. And I don't know if that would hold nowadays, because the minute Trump started talking about putting tariffs on Canada, the newsprint prices started jumping up, which is also one of the reasons I got out from doing Flint Comics, because it just got, and they didn't go up much because my printer is awesome, but they still went up.
Right.
It was still a factor in deciding to stop publishing, because it went up, maybe, and it hadn't gone up for the previous decade. I was paying the same price for, well, we didn't print issue 1 with them, but we printed like issue 10. By issue 10, we were getting them printed there. I think we ran issue 10 to issue probably 91, 92, same price, for the same amount. And it was a constant, constant turnaround.
When you notice when
Trump announced tariffs, they announced a price hike, and then they announced another price hike, and then they announced another price hike. And that Trump still hasn't, as far as I know. I don't think he's put tariffs on Canadian newsprint yet. It's still coming. So once that happens, it's going to go up again. But it's still cheaper than doing print on demand. And you just have to be able to front the thousands of dollars, 2 or 3,000, in order to get 2 or 3,000, or no, 5 to 10,000 books. You just have to be able to move them. That's what Samedi does. Like I said, Alterna is awesome. They kick out, I'm sure his print run is 3 to 5,000 each issue. He's not printing 25, 50, 25, 50. He's moving a lot.
I have to wonder too, if you're printing that amount of books, is it because you don't have the sales? I mean, because you think about it, Randy. I mean, you some publishers, just from what at least you look at online, and it could be a case of what you said, what you can prove. Some people are claiming that they're going through cases of books at shows. I've never done that. I've never gone through a case of books at a show ever.
I only did that to one book, and I told you about that. That was Spank, and that was because of that literally that ad for us, that big, or not, it wasn't even a big write-up. It was a write-up though that showed our cover in Wizard magazine. Boom. Our sales went up. We sold I haven't even gotten close to that at a show. Over a period of shows, I've moved a lot of stuff, but never at one show like that before. I mean, we had people lined up, but I had a tremendously huge movie poster size blow up of that cover sitting behind us too. So people would walk by and go, "I saw that in Wizard magazine. I got to buy that comic." That's where that came from. Plus 2 monkeys and a cleavage, Yeah. And it was a bright fluorescent pink bikini too. That was pretty eye catching. I don't have any more. I think I told you I got one copy of that book. That's it. That's all I got. I got it digital. I've colored it. I could sell color digital copies of Spank the Monkey #1. So I was thinking of giving it away when I do my Indiegogo as a digital. I've got 1 and 2 colored. Nobody's seen them. I've got them all colored and ready to go. I can just stick it on a thumb drive and mail it out to whoever. And they can enjoy reading in color digital copy of Spank the Monkey 1 and 2, because those are the only ones that are really worth reading. 3 and 4, pretty trashy. And then, the Spank the Monkey on the comic market's kind of outdated. That's why I want to update it. So, and it desperately needs to be updated now that I've done and looked at the market and how much it's shifted over the last couple of years. I really want to get back to it and update it. I want to add more to the history. I want to add more to just the content of the character. And, I'm starting to get curmudgeon-y and angry and bitter about the market, just like Spank is. So, yep. Cutting my mic for a second.
Okay. I think that as I learn more and more about the comics market, and
Sorry, I had to cough up a lung there.
no problem. As I learn more about the market, you can't help but get angry. You can't help but to feel as though the people who are in charge have you start to question why they let it get this far.
Well, the
Why?
first thing I tell any retailer, whoever asks me, any potential retailer, somebody who's thinking about opening a comic shop, is that you got to take all your business acumen, everything you ever learned about business in school or in practical experience, and toss it right out the window, because comics don't make logical business sense because of the monopoly that's running and the fact that it's an art form. So, and I have tremendous respect for any retailer who can survive in today's market. Tremendous respect, especially with some of the product that keeps coming out. You know, DC announced at the Vegas retail segment. Sorry to bring up the mainstream again, but DC announced they're going to do a whole string of DC zombie books.
No.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's like, oh, wonderful. You know, why don't you go out there and try looking for talent?
You know, my thing about us covering
instead of using ideas that Marvel did 5 years ago or 10 years ago or whenever they did it.
My problem with people who
back when zombies were remotely faddish,
the people who accuse us of covering the mainstream, is that the mainstream, Marvel and DC, I mean, they're the industry leaders. They are the industry leaders, and what affects them after a while will affect us all. I forget what country it is, but they said,
not anymore. I think you're seeing that big shift away from that, and they're scared to death.
Yeah, and
that's why you have everybody screaming and pointing and screaming racism and bigotry. And that guy's a Nazi. He just made, $750,000 on an Indiegogo campaign. We got to shut him down any way that we possibly can.
I don't know if they understand.
Did you invest in that Earthworm Jim book yet?
No, I haven't.
He's going to be at 200,000 before the end of next week. Boom.
That's a lot of money.
He walked in, and I don't know if he leased it or if he got the rights back to do it or whatever. He's going to make a lot of money on it.
I believe he has the rights back.
Yeah. And the Bigfoot Bill book is such a beautiful, beautiful book that those books are going to be awesome. Incredible. But yeah, all those Indiegogos are jumping. So.
I was telling people at the con that I don't think the future of funding your book is a Kickstarter. I think it's an Indiegogo, and they all looked like they were shocked. But I don't see people making money on Kickstarter with books. I see that you'll get kicked off of Kickstarter if they don't like the content of your book.
After my experience at the Great Lakes Con, I'm gonna just stop telling anybody. Unless I know them. Because the first minute I say, well, what you need to understand is, and I get cut off like that, like I was, I'm done talking to people. I mean, I'll talk here, and anybody who wants to listen in and learn, that's awesome. And they're more than welcome. And please join in on the chat. I haven't checked lately. Last time I looked, it was you and me watching this thing.
Oh, let's take a look.
And we're up to 6. Hello, 6, whoever you are. Gabriel's in. Danny Quick is there.
Yeah.
Danny Trico's in there.
Yeah, Dan. People are
getting nice. Dave the Supreme. What's up, Dave?
People are getting kicked off of Kickstarter if you don't.
No, they're getting gate kept off of Kickstarter.
Yeah, but some people have their Kickstarters cancel. I mean, and it's been all over.
Have they really? Anybody actually have that happen?
Yeah, there have been some people. I'll have to pull the articles up, but there have been people who have been. One guy had a very and again, his comic was very far left. And
so what did he do? Did he step on, the gatekeeper's grandmother's grave or what?
I have no idea what he did, but he woke up one morning and found that his email saying that his Kickstarter had been removed and it had been closed down, and the monies had been refunded to his contributors.
He probably expressed his own opinion.
Yeah,
That's what seems to be happening.
It wasn't a conservative, right wing Republican book. It was far left wing, and they just didn't like what he put. And I think there was some racial overtones to the book, but
you should dig that up. We should have him on the show. We need to talk to that guy.
Yeah.
Have
him come on and chat with us. And if I can, I will.
Yeah, do that.
I'll reach out to him and see if I can get him to come on, because it'd be nice to find out what he said that morning when he woke up.
Gabriel, what's an EWJ comic? Tell me in the chat.
Earthworm Jim.
Oh, Earthworm Jim. Oh yeah, absolutely. Sorry, my I don't know. My initials are lacking.
Yeah, the Earthworm Jim comic looks good.
Yeah, Gabe, that looks incredible. And he is printing. He's still printing from the same publishing house that publishes all those high school yearbooks. So
is he?
Yeah. If you haven't seen that Bigfoot Bill book, I showed that on camera, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gabriel, if you go back a couple of our chats, probably 4 of them, you can see that Bigfoot Bill book. It's just amazing. It's really pretty. That done by Doug Tenaple. Doug has his own channel here on YouTube as well. If you're not listening to him, he's good. He's got a lot of good people on there. He also has another buddy that's in movie production that does a book called Long Harbor that you should look at. That is just amazing. It's a painted book. It's a New England Cthulhu book that is really, really sweet looking. If it's written as well as it's drawn, it's going to be a hell of a product. Really nice.
Some of these guys are indeed changing and upping the ante and what's expected out of the indie book.
I can get that stuff again. You think that anybody would want to look at it?
Sure,
I can pull it up. Give me just a second.
Sure. Yeah, I'll just keep talking. I think that these guys, a lot of them, and from whatever political affiliation they come from, which I don't think comics should be about politics. I think it should be about who's doing good work, and some of these guys are doing some incredible work that is really pushing the genre and elevating the genre. And that's what we need. We need people who are going to make indie comics viable and enjoyable. And I picked up a couple books this weekend at Motor City Comic Con. They were pretty good indie books. Base Force from Chris Osmond. The book is drawn beautifully. I'm probably mispronouncing his artist the name. I think it's Aaron, because AR space EN, but it might be his pen name. But just some phenomenal, really nice looking work. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the future.
I had to go back in my archives and dig this up. Gabe, if you're watching this, I'm going to back up a little bit so I can get past this camera. Here, I'm going to move the camera back just a hair. My camera's on my Wacom. This is the package that the Bigfoot Bill came in. It looks like a pizza box. It opens up and it's wrapped. I left it in its original packing. 2 lines of bubble wrap. Once you get into the bag, 2 lines of bubble wrap, and I just dropped all of his frills on the floor. And so he had a lot of stretch goals that they ended up making. He had a pack of Bigfoot Bill trading cards that I don't dare open because I know that's where some of the money is. There is a embroidered patch that says low carb on it with Bigfoot Bill. Kind of looks like Doug Tenaple, actually. And here's the book. The book is hardbound. Looks like a high school yearbook. Bigfoot Bill, gold embossed stamping. And it's got a little stamp. Let me see if I can hit that right. If you can see that in the reflection. There's a Bigfoot Bill stamped into the cover. Can you see it off of the light?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the book interior, let me open that up and take out the bookmarker. Of course, there was another bookmarker that was another stretch goal. But the interior of the book is pretty. Let me try to zoom up on that. That's a cow pan boom. Well, that's kind of a dead page. Let me turn it. There's a great full shot of Bigfoot Bill running, and it's about a jailhouse, actually, like a penitentiary where they put all the mythical creatures at that there's a breakout in, and Bigfoot Bill is part of that. Let me see. Can you see that detail? Look at that. Doug is amazing. And it's cartooning sense. I never much cared for Earthworm Jim when it first opened up, but I'm going to be real happy to buy that book. And Doug signed it really big inside the book. He was able to sign that before they bound it. He took the paper and signed it, and then mailed the pages out to the publisher. But it's a really nice hardback book. That was $25 plus $10 shipping. And I think this time he charged $14 shipping because he figured $10. It was originally going to be a soft cover book, like a regular graphic novel. And then once he hit, I think it was 80,000 or 100,000, he decided to do it in hardback just because he appreciated everybody. He didn't have to do it, but he just wanted to do it because of the quality. And it's a super nice product. It reads really good. I'm sure I know he had an editor go through it before he did. These guys are a lot smarter than the first run of Image products because they're being careful with the story. They're taking their time and doing it right. That's why the Frog book is as late as it is, because he went from 48 pages to 88 pages, and he went a little overboard because he was so impressed that everybody invested so much in him.
Randy, do you think that's the future? We're gonna have to start upgrading the production and the overall, like, just the look of our books.
I think you're going to see it go in two directions. It's breaking apart right now. You're going to have, and I don't have the Graveyard Shift book down here either. The Graveyard Shift book is pretty good, but it looks almost exactly like the Jawbreakers book. I think you're going to see it split. And I think you're seeing that split. There desperately needs to be more creativity on the market anyway, of people trying different formats and playing with different things and doing more newspapers like I did, because I know that formula will work. You've just got to figure out how to make it work. But I think you're going to see it split into the vanity press situation where people are ordering their books in advance. The books are all going to, after this year, I can almost guarantee you all of the books will be done in advance. All of the artwork, everything will be ready to go. It'll be sitting there ready to go to the printer. All of the artists will have already been paid for. Any variant covers that they did will be paid for. And you'll have to pay. And, those are the $25 books with the $10 or $15 of shipping. The cool thing about the Bill book that I didn't realize until it was too late that I missed out on is he did a making of book that was as thick as this book. And he had that hardbound too. And so if you paid $50, which I've paid, and that's, I totally recommend that you do don't buy just the one book, buy the two books, because the second book is all the making of the first book. And on Earthworm Jim, it's going to talk about the creation of the character in general. He's going to have early production sketches. He's got production sketches with the crew that did the cartoon, and all sorts of little, all the other little frills and pictures and any other little thing that he can toss into that book. It'll be the making of Earthworm Jim, not just the making of Earthworm Jim's book. So, and it's going to be a hot piece. The book, the Bigfoot Bill making of book, is more valuable because he had very few of those printed. He printed right to orders. In fact, he underestimated the amount of orders, and I think he said he was 180 copies shy of fulfillment for everybody. He had to refund a lot of people for books that went overseas. And it's just as nice as this book. And in fact, some of the artwork in there was amazing, really pretty, because he did monster drawings and all sorts of stuff that didn't make it into the Bigfoot Bill book. So
that's it. There's no reprints for that book.
No, he might go back and reprint it in paperback, but he said he won't make that kind of book again. And then he said also with the Earthworm Jim book, he's going to do the same thing on the making of book. because the Earthworm Jim book is kind of the origin of Earthworm Jim. I think it's called Release the Cow.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. And he's getting really close. I can pull that up here. I'd have to dig it up off of my off of his Indiegogo. I might have that. Pardon me. I might actually have that bookmarked because I was watching his campaign. Let me check here. Under my favorites, I have Long Harbor saved. Let's see where that's at. Last time I looked, that was what, 60? It's at 62. Last time I looked, it was at 58. I can screen share that. Here's the Long Harbor Indiegogo book. You should look and see how pretty that looks up, if it comes up.
Yeah, I've seen some pages from that. That's gonna be a nice looking book too.
Nope, I don't seem to be able to pull that up. Full screen. Nope. Hangouts. Nope. There it is. It says Long Harbor. Let's see what does that look like? Anything? Are you getting anything?
I'm getting a black page.
You're getting a black page. I'm sorry. I can I'm gonna copy that Indiegogo link.
Sorry for a second.
Is it there now?
Nope, went away.
Oh. It's not there?
Nope, came in for a second, but
what if I smacked it? Anyway. Well, I won't leave that up. There. Now we're back. I'm going to put that in the chat.
Okay.
For folks to... Yeah, I can see the blackness of the screen now. There is Long Harbor. And I will type... Type Long Harbor after that. That is worth it. That's worth your time. I've already invested in that campaign. The book just looks so awesome.
Let's think about those numbers, Randy. That's 200, almost 200,000 now.
For what?
Is
for Bigfoot? Yeah. Let me swing over there. Or Earthworm Jim, you mean? Let me swing up there and take a look. Whoops. Let's see if this works. Where did it go? Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to try something fancier here.
Well, let me do this.
Just keep talking. I'll bang around on this. Anyway, what I was going to say is you're going to see that Vanity Press, you're going to see the Indiegogo campaigns, and you're going to see people like Samedi going out there trying to do something inexpensive and as nice a quality as possible. A lot of newsprint at a really low market price. That's coming.
We got Bigfoot Bill, the book that you just held up for everyone, $196,546 out of 3,364 backers. And when I see these numbers, as good as they are, it scares me as a publisher who has made quite a bit of money on, going to cons, directly selling to the customer. I don't make that at a show, especially over 10 days. Some of these guys are making $20,000, $30,000 sitting at their computer, at home on their computer. They're not having to stop, jump on a plane, go to a show.
Well, that's why we're doing this, is to try to build up an audience.
The future of comics does not seem to be at Comic-Con. And
like I said, I think you're going to see a shift. Here is the big. I'm putting the Earthworm Jim Indiegogo link up there as well. They are at 182,360. Mm-hmm. And he has only been out for 7 days.
Right.
I think he's got 53 days left to go on his campaign. It's called Launch the Cow.
Yeah, it's upsetting when you. I mean, that's
And
upsetting
and
to me as
believe
a
me,
publisher.
don't get the 25 Earthworm Jim comic. Get the Earthworm Jim comic and making of book, because both of those more than worth $50. One of that, just the Earthworm Jim book is probably worth $50 by today's standards.
Mm.
Nice stuff. Nice stuff.
I don't know if
Gabriel pointed out that a lot of those guys are still doing Patreon. The problem with Patreon's starting to kick people off too. Just all you have to do is breathe wrong, and you'll lose your Patreon account. So they're being real cautious with that.
You would think it sounds like an attack against comic books, but in fact, it seems to be just an attack against, we don't agree with your political affiliation, or we don't agree with a tweet that you made 10 years ago. We want you out of here.
I'm starting to think that the political affiliation thing is an excuse anymore, because Marvel and DC are starting to learn that they've run into a problem, that their sales have dropped through the floor. They're scared to death because Ethan went through and pulled down, he's at 800,000 if I'm not mistaken, just for one book. So they're pushing that. They're pushing, oh, you're right wing, oh, you're a bigot, oh, you're a Nazi, and this mindset that's especially going through the professional community that's just so wrong. And they perpetuate that, and that they're going around behind the scenes and trying to cause these people trouble in order to make them go away, in order for the mainstream to remain out there, because they're making money. The money that these guys are making on these Indiegogo books are all from people that want to read good comics, that are just tired of the stuff that the mainstream are kicking out. And they're not that familiar with a lot of the independent stuff.
Well, one of the things is you have some of the independents following right along with the mainstream. They're thinking that, oh, okay, well, that's where the audience is at. That's what we're going to do. And
mainstream is still a bigger boat. It takes them a while to turn around. I don't think they're ever going to make up with these guys now that they figured out they can Indiegogo a $50,000 book like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're just going to keep doing it. And like I keep telling you, every time these guys kick one book out, they learn. And then by the time they get the second book out, all of the artwork's done. They're looking at what Paluto is doing. They're looking at Billy Tucci and what he's doing. They're looking at what Ethan's doing. Not all these guys are Comicsgate type people, but the Comicsgate people are talking to each other, and they're talking to these other guys that are outside of the mainstream, and they do one book, they learn from their mistake, they do the second book. By the time the third book comes out, they're actually a vanity press. Your boy Zach's got his next 17 novels. He says he's already, he's already got them rolling. He's going to pay for all of the artwork, everything that's not connected to him. He's going to pay for up front. He's going to pay more than professional wages. All these people are going to want to work for all these guys with the vanity presses, because that's where the money's going to be, because that's where the money is.
I just think that
in the meanwhile, Marvel and DC are going to do 12,000, 20,000 print runs. So these guys are going to be making, 50,000, 70,000, 80,000.
I'm not sure if people understand the gravity of the situation. Is that,
Oh no, I think that the mainstream guys know exactly what the hell's happening.
The mainstream I understand. I'm talking about the indie guys. The indie guys don't understand shit. They don't understand it.
Well, that and the mushroomed professionals, because there's a huge contingent of mushroomed cog professionals out there that are working in their basements, just like this, that are fed the same line of BS from the company store. Oh, it's Ethan, he's a Nazi. Don't buy into that Nazi crap. In the meantime, Ethan's sitting here counting out $80,000, paying for his new house, running his YouTube channel, paying for his groceries off of his super chats, and, just smiling at everybody and poking fun at everybody.
I think that the industry is in big trouble, and we need to figure out a way. I'm not going to say we, but
I think the retailers and the so-called mainstream are in big trouble. I don't think the industry's in that much trouble.
Well, the young publishers.
I swear, as soon as I get the time, I'm going to do a video where I'm going to thank Mark Waid and Gail Simone for reinstituting everyone's love for sequential art, because they're the ones that started all this mess. and everybody else just went around it, figured out the way to get around it, and make the art form grow. And that's what's going to happen. You're going to see millions of dollars this year poured in through Indiegogo campaigns. And if they shut down Indiegogo, if they end up, convincing Indiegogo that these guys are evil, and Indiegogo shuts them down, they're going to create their own crowdfunding site, and they're just going to keep rolling. They're not going to be able to, it's too late. The snowball's rolling down the hill. They're not going to be able to stop it. And yeah, you're going to see some crap products out there too. There's some of those books I haven't invested in because I don't like them. I don't think they're good. I don't think they're remotely anything that I want to read. But there's other stuff out there. I can't wait. I can't wait to see Long Harbor. I can't wait to see Earthworm Jim. And I don't even like Earthworm Jim. But Bigfoot Bill was awesome. Lone Star is out there. That's not a bad product. I got the Jawbreakers book here. That book that Russell Myers is suing Mark Wade over.
Richard Meyer.
Richard Meyer. Russell. It's Russell Meyer. Did Richard. I say Richard? No, it's Russell.
No, it's Richard.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Your boy Zach, anyway. Let's call him your boy Zach. I'm sure you're right. But that's not a bad book. Look at that. Look at the quality inside there. It looks like a regular trade. $25. It's not a bad product. That book's worth money. Look on eBay. Look at John Malin's. I heard John Malin's Graveyard Shift is selling for close to $100.
I think that those books are they'll obviously go down in history as being
that Cyber Frog book's going to be worth instant money on eBay.
I think they'll go down in history as being some of the first books to spark this this new I don't call it revolution, but this new direction.
It's a new wave. It's the next link.
But I just wonder overall what that means for a company, a company like mine that goes to Comic-Cons to meet directly. Because when you look at their numbers, you think, okay, well, my online store for my publishing company isn't doing those numbers. So
that's why we're doing this. Yeah. We're trying to build up a little visibility.
Well, you do it because you want people to figure out who you are and obviously understand that you love this industry. You're trying to put out a quality product, but those guys are tapped into a resource and tapped into a vein that I think that if everyone for a second says, okay, well, all the other crap aside, what they've done is phenomenal. How can we tap into that same market? Because there's obviously a market that is hungry for comics there. That is coming to them. I can't tell you how many people I've seen at Comic-Con just this last weekend as customers walk by, hey, check out my comic. And customers, they kept walking. No, thanks. How many times I've heard people say, oh, I don't read comics. You're at a Comic-Con, but you don't read comics. Okay, whatever, that's fine.
I'm finding that happening a lot more too as it goes along.
They've got Indiegogo where people come there to find them, to find the comics.
Well, see, that's also Wade and Simone's fault because they caused the controversy and they're sitting there going, hey, we're being persecuted. Hey, we're being persecuted. And people are actually interested to know what the hell's going on.
Are either of them not working in the mainstream right now?
Who, what?
Gail or Mark Wade, are they working in the mainstream right now at all?
Gail just released a bunch of tweets talking about how great all the independents are. I don't know if she's working or not. I think she is.
Okay.
I don't know if she got caught up in that Oni Lion Forge purge or not.
She was over at Lion Forge.
I haven't heard. Yeah, well, they were using her as an advisor, which means she was taking a check to sit there and go ooh and ah about books that she probably hasn't read much or hasn't much to say about. She was kind of their cheerleader apparently. But Wade, I think, is still writing stuff. I know he's going to be collecting royalty checks. His estate will collect them long after he's passed because of all the stuff that he's done in mainstream comics.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how much business he'll end up getting after the lawsuit, I don't know. He'll probably still keep getting work because nobody up there likes your boy Zach anyway.
That lawsuit is going to be, I believe we'll be keeping an eye on it here at Indie Vault to see what happens. It is something that is going to have ramifications due to indie comic industry and to the comic industry, in mass.
Yeah.
After it's announced.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, you need a table at that show, at the Saginaw show? Let me know. Still have artist tables available. Tell me in the chat. I'll put you on the list.
Yeah, and no one knows it. Randy does have a show coming up. He's doing a show in Saginaw. It is the first.
My first show in Saginaw at the SVRC Marketplace at the end of June, right at the end of June, June 29th. 10 to 5.
I will be there.
I'll be there.
My publishing arm is Last Call Comics, as well as I'll have some Indie Volt staff walking around, getting some pictures and talking to some artists that are there. Didn't get a chance to do any of that at Motor City.
Gabriel, you say you mostly read comics, mostly read manga. You should take a look at what is that, Knuckle Punch? What's that book that they're pushing? I know one of them's Knuckle Punch. There's another one coming up called Star Blade that is Indiegogoing. That looks really hot. Gabe says, hell, I mostly read manga. There's there's a couple of American manga books that are streaming out. Dave, I put you on the list. I'll put you there as soon as I'm done here and can dig up my show book. You're on there.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to do any Indie Volt stuff at Motor City Comic Con this weekend. I'm kind of upset with myself, but
you should have. I know that the Toths used to go there and get our interviews for Flint Comics.
Yeah.
We'd have the interviews for the whole next year. We could have had Barry Williams. So disappointed.
Yeah, things happened where I wasn't able to get out there and do interviews or have the staff that was there go out and help. But it just taught me a very valuable lesson about helping get this industry, especially the independents, some publicity. I'm trying to do something now where I'm going to try to schedule those interviews before they happen. So I want to have the times. I want to have the date. Hey, I'm going to see you here Saturday at 9:00. Is that okay? Because I hate going to people's table when they're, a bunch of customers and being in the way and they're trying to do an interview and they're losing business, because I understand that sucks. But right. Yeah, I wasn't able to get around to anybody. So we got some pictures from the show, but we did not get any.
You're going to push that picture of you with Jim Lee forever.
No. I'll push it for a couple. It's going into my me with pictures of famous artists. I got a picture with me and Mike Turner before he passed away, about a year before he passed away. And then I got a picture with James Obar from 2001, 2002. I may have to update that picture though. I may have to update that one because
he looks different.
We both look different. I'm several pounds heavier than I was when I took that picture of James Obar. So I'm sure if I showed it to him, he'll wonder who's that little kid I took a picture with versus this big fat man standing next to me.
Yeah. I hear you. Doctor, it's on me too to lose some weight. So.
Yeah. They keep making good food though. I keep.
Why swap doctors? That's what it was.
Oh.
It's like, oh, you need to lose some weight. I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was in line, waiting for Jim Lee at Motor City Comic Con.
Got your e-ticket.
I was waiting with a friend of mine, Melissa Becker, who offered me a Cliff Bar. Now I have never had a Cliff Bar at all. So I figured, you know what? It's early in the morning. I am hungry. It's a granola bar, right? That's what I thought.
It's an energy bar.
And they're protein.
high protein. I don't know. I think they only have like 15 grams.
Well,
of protein, don't they?
I believe so. I'd say this. My body is not used to it.
You were like wide awake by the time you got to Jim Lee, or
I was
spinning in circles waiting to get into his line.
I was awake, but I was it was the after effects of eating it actually.
You're a hardcore monster eater. You could take it, monster drinker.
Yeah, I drink a lot of Rockstar energy drinks. Yeah,
Yeah.
for me it was
You drink
like
so much, you need to get that logo on your jacket.
yeah,
Tell them you're a media star that they need to send you cases. There we go.
Rockstar energy drink should definitely provide me with free and advertising on indievote.com and this show actually. They should be giving me some advertising dollars.
There we
I don't
go.
understand.
Yep. Industry Talk brought to you by Rockstar Energy Drink.
Yeah.
Drink it. Take the buzz.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that for me after eating that bar, wasn't that night where my stomach started bubbling. I'm like, oh, what's going on with me? And then I realized I can't eat those things.
Wow.
But I still have some more. I went out and bought some actually, so I'll give them a try. Maybe when I'm hungry and feeling peckish, I'll grab one of those and
just have the afternoon. I feel the same way about rum. Just don't drink it if you're going to go out and drive. You know, don't take it if you're going to go out in public.
And there's
yep.
Yeah, crunchy.
How many grams of protein are in that? Does it say?
Nutrition for sustained energy. It says
probably boasts somewhere on the outer wrapper.
Protein 11 grams.
Oh, that's nothing. That's chicken. That's chicken feed. Chicken feed. Chicken feed. That's nothing. It's nothing. I got a protein drink that I take when I'm at the show. That I've still got. You get them in 4-packs. I found it. We had a friend over that was losing weight and used it. And I took one, and holy crap, I was in like high gear. It wasn't really quick. It was a nice slow build, but once I was there for 4 or 5 hours. Just I was able to work. I got a lot of stuff done. And I'm like, you know what? I need to put more of those protein drinks in my refrigerator. So I don't drink them very often now, but I will have 1 or 2 of them out there for the show.
Gotta ask
because it's really good. That's got 30 grams of protein in it.
I got to ask a couple questions at Comic-Con, and maybe you can help me out with answering them.
Okay.
So Comic Artist says that they just can't get motivated to do issue 2 of their series. A comic artist spoke to said they can't get motivated to do issue 2 of their book. Issue 1 is out, but they just can't get motivated to do issue 2.
They didn't make that movie deal or what?
No
What's up with that?
No movie deal. Yeah,
don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Go on to other stuff. Obviously, they don't have an audience for it.
Mm-hmm.
If they had a big enough audience for it, they'd be motivated to do issue 2.
Do you think that's important sometimes to be able to call it quits? Okay, this book didn't do anything.
Yeah. You're asking the wrong person that question. You obviously haven't seen everything I printed. All the number ones I printed as Arrow Comics. Holy crap. I did a lot of one-shots. Descendants of Toshin, The Last Night of Camelot, and Dr. Goyle, and I was printing a lot of people because I thought their stuff looked cool. As well, as long as I was at least breaking that 800 mark that we were talking about earlier.
I have a book.
I stopped doing it when I wasn't hitting that 800 mark because I pissed a couple people off and it went sideways. So I stopped. I was done. I wasn't going to solicit for anybody else's stuff. And that's about the time I stopped doing floppies in general, or the I shouldn't say floppies. That's such a negative term. The regular size comics.
Mm-hmm.
So I finished up Spank the Monkey on the comic market, printed a couple of graphic novels, and then told Diamond that what they could do. Which is why you probably haven't seen another Arrow comic out of Diamond. I should probably restart. I should start up slow and do another newsprint line like Samedi's doing, and just keep cranking them out.
No, there's definitely
I need to figure out how to get Diamond to take a newspaper. That's what I need to do. They won't do it because the price point would be too low. That's why they give Samedi a hard time. I think they see him growing, and he's got $1.50 books when they're pushing Marvel's $3.99 books. Or $7.99 books of the same size.
Mm-hmm.
So Samedi's going to start kicking out super spectaculars, 80-page to 100-page books. I was kind of hoping he'd do an anthology. He'd keep doing anthology books when he's up there in that size, but he's talking about reprinting 3-issue, 4-issue stories into one volume for $4.99. So almost the same as printing a cheap graphic novel.
It's Dave said that was an awesome pick of me and Jim Lee.
Yeah, it is. It's really good.
Yeah.
The
it
thing
was funny
is,
because
like I said, Jim hits the same pose on all those pictures. He's all like,
well, it's funny you mentioned that because the pose actually that
particular,
he was doing a different pose. I was gonna sit down next to him.
Did he give you an option?
And I asked him, could he do the same pose? The point.
Oh, okay.
If you notice, I'm the only person pointing at him.
Yeah.
And I said, can we do that weird point? And he said, is that weird? And he says, it'd be really weird if we touched hands. So so there's a picture. There's 3 different pictures. I only posted one.
Okay.
But there's a third picture. We're touching fingers like this. And I want to go on Photoshop and like put like a little glow there.
You should. That'd be awesome. I have the power.
But yeah, it was really cool. And it was really funny. And he made a funny joke during the panel. He said, early days with Image are a lot like he said, he loves all those guys, and the early days of Image was like having brothers that know, and it's like growing up with I think he said 5 brothers, 2 of which can't draw feet, and he said that he was one of them. He was one of the ones that can't draw feet. Yeah, and I thought it was funny. And they, we tried to catch him. Like, hey, did you speak to Todd recently? And he just spoke to Todd at that point. That was Saturday. He said he just spoke to Todd 2 days ago. And then he stopped. And he said, wait a minute, I have to Google something. Because he was about to spill the beans on some projects. And he said, oh, okay, yeah, he can talk about Todd having the DC toy deal now.
Yeah, that was old news.
Yeah, but
McFarlane Toys picked that up right after they stopped the merchandising line.
Did you know? And now that Jim he's been publisher of DC.
Yeah,
but he's now also chief creative officer.
Yeah, well, they flushed everybody that was underneath them.
Yeah.
In order for them to keep their jobs.
And there was one title. I can't remember what title it was they brought up. But they were talking about
was it Koala Wrangler?
No. There was a title they brought up and an artist, writer,
a comic title.
Yeah, and Jim asked Jim if he ever worked on it, and he let out this little smile that told me all I need to know, which was he's probably already working on it. He also kind of said that he was semi-retired
from drawing. Probably he's too busy.
Yeah,
if he's being the creative officer, he's the only time he could probably draw is at night.
Yeah, he does Twitch streaming live. I'm a subscriber to his Twitch streams. And
who's on Twitch? Nobody's on Twitch.
Yeah, a lot of people. I'm on Twitch.
Are you? Mm-hmm. What are you doing on Twitch?
I go on Twitch.
Should we all be on Twitch? Should we be all live streaming on Twitch?
Twitch. YouTube has been playing catch up with Twitch.
The only thing I've heard about Twitch is people play movies and they comment on it. Everybody starts movies up and then they talk about it while it's playing.
You could do that. You can do that, but Twitch was kind of YouTube has been catching up with Twitch. YouTube has been playing catch up with Twitch.
Yeah, and
I think they're now in a much better space than they were 8-9 months ago.
YouTube,
because Twitch was kicking their butts. But now
I know a lot of the YouTube channel people that I follow have Twitch streams that they do other content over on.
Yeah.
But, it's usually like the wackadoos wanting to talk about the conspiracy stuff that they figure they'd get thrown off of YouTube for.
Mm-hmm.
You want to see the footage of the flying saucer standing next to Eisenhower? You're going to have to go over to Twitch. That kind of thing. That and Grace has sat and watched a couple of movies with her people, her Patreon people or whoever. I guess they have their own site now that you can buy your way in.
I have a crush on Grace Randolph, so.
You have a crush on her?
Yeah.
I'm going to take her to lunch. I do, just to sit there and talk to her about stuff because she really seems to know her shit a lot. I appreciate her abilities. I really do.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool. I would imagine if she's like her videos, it'd be pretty high level.
Yeah.
Well, boom, 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 boom. Okay.
Yeah. She definitely has maybe a couple shots of espresso before she starts.
Yeah. Well, she's up. The high energy cells. So
yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you this. I'm watching a channel now from a guy named Scotty who does car repair. I hate car repair. But this guy is awesome, and he does these big emphatic gestures, and he knows his stuff like the back of his hand. Here's the top 10 cars you should absolutely walk out of the dealership from if you get offered. Just tell the salesman no, turn around, walk away. That's pretty cool. He's taught me a few things, especially about jumping. You don't jump modern cars by putting the positive and negative clamps on both of the batteries. You don't run both of the cars at the same time. Because usually in the old days, you run the car that was dead, you'd hook it up to the car that was running, negative to negative, positive to positive, and then run over and start your car. So don't do that. You're going to screw your electronics. So you let it run for 10 minutes and you shut the good car off, and then you try the car that's not started, because they'll catch the whatever voltage off of that battery anyway. Plus whatever they've stored in their own battery already. That was kind of interesting. And don't connect your car up to the negative port, or you'll screw your electronics, or you'll catch something on fire if there's any type of gas emission in the air around the engine, which is possible with the new electronics. You're supposed to clamp it to a ground part of the metal part of the car. Never knew that before either. So
our resident mechanic / college professor, Trico. I wonder if he knows that.
Trico, you ever watch Scotty?
Yeah, I don't know if he's still in the chat, but
I don't know if he is either. No. He starts all of his videos with "rev up your engines." Then he always ends it with "if you want to get your notifications from me, ring that bell." And he's got this old bell that he rings, and that he ends up looking at the camera like he's a Muppet. It's pretty funny.
That's cool.
He's got a really goofy look, but he's funny. He's an old Texas mechanic dude. Apparently works out of his garage. He's probably got a lot bigger business than what he does. He looks like he works all out of his garage. He had a tour of the back of his garage where he was pulling out all of these old tools that he doesn't use anymore. That was kind of fascinating. Here's a set of wrenches. I've had these wrenches sitting back here. They're collecting dust. He says, you know why? Because they're American measurements and they're not metric. Everything's metric now.
Trico says I have to check Scotty out.
Yeah, he's fun. He's fun, and he seems to know his stuff, which is interesting.
Randy, when you guys would travel in the early days of comicdom,
way back in the days of yore.
Yeah, no, I'm presuming it was a horse and buggy.
Yeah.
Was there
That's SCOTTY. I think that's what it is. Scotty, just regular Scotty. It's a Scotty channel.
Dave wants to know are there any other Comic Cons we recommend to attend?
Well, there's the Traverse City Con this weekend, but you're probably already set up for that, Dave. Yeah. I understand that's a big one. I've never gone though. They've never invited me up there.
Yeah, we're gonna write that wrong. We're gonna write that wrong. This coming weekend, I'm gonna talk to somebody and see if I can't. Why Randy Zimmerman has been unallowed to come to that.
You've got some copies of Flint Comics. Put them under their nose and ask them why I've never been nominated for an innovation award.
Okay. Well,
just kidding. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that.
That award, if I'm the Gary Reed Award, started off as a Shell Dorf Award. Am I correct?
Yeah, the Gary Reed Award.
Yeah. It started off as a Shell Dorf Award, right?
No. The Shell Dorf Award was with Detroit Fanfare.
Right, but
that was Dennis's stuff.
Right, but they transferred it over to C4 when Fanfare went under.
Not that I'm aware of. Huh. I thought C4 started their own.
I have to ask Randy. I'm not Randy. I have to ask Dennis.
Yeah,
what happened, because
I think they just stopped it. It's just a popularity contest anyway. But
I want to be popular.
We all want to be popular. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah. He-Man SR75 says, "Hey guys." Hello, He-Man SR75. How are you?
Is that James? James, are you He-Man SR75? I won't give it away. Are you Jim? Let me know. But hey, thanks for coming. There's still 6 watching us, so somebody dropped out.
Oh no, it's better.
Oh, Scott. Hey, buddy. How you doing? That's awesome.
That's better. It's
Welcome
Scott
aboard,
Roseman's
Scott.
in the chat. That's awesome. Yeah.
You need to get a microphone and a video camera. If you got those, you need to come on board so that we can have some live chats.
and
That would be great.
Yeah, and Scott can tell us about his history in comics, because Scott's history is about as long as yours, isn't it, Randy?
I think so. If not, I'm a little older. So, but hey, Scott, are you going to make the Saginaw show? If you are, I'm going to put you in the promotions. Stone tools only. Stone tools only. Yep, absolutely. There's a minute or so, minute and a half delay, 90 second probably delay on this. You think between the chat and our feed?
Probably less than 90 seconds. I'd probably say it about 20, 25.
I know Scott's a fast typer. So Scott, let me know if you're coming to Saginaw. Check your calendar. You said you're going to check. Let me know.
I'm leaning into it.
I'm leaning in. Don't lean too hard. Don't hurt yourself.
Was it June 29th?
June 29th. Yes. The SVRC Marketplace.
It's if his middle name starts with a V, he has to do it.
There you go.
SVRC.
SVRC.
So it's Scott Vincent Rose McCullers Center.
Yeah. It's a Saginaw Valley something center. Used to be the old Saginaw News building, just like the Flint Farmers Market used to be the Flint Journal building.
Really? Is that what happens to old printing places? They become food markets?
Well, I think Saginaw converted over because Flint's is going so well. I think that's why they contacted me too, because they heard that I put on that kind of show, and they want to put on that kind of show up there. That's why they got a hold of me, because I'd never heard of them before.
Mm-hmm.
But they seem to be nice people, and they're going out of their way to, help make this a really good event. Looks like it's going to be a really big event. So,
are you going to see the facility? Did you say you already seen the facility again?
Oh, yeah. No, I've been up there a couple times. Okay. And I've talked to them and walked through the room. I walked. They actually went through and floored, put flooring in that room, painted it up, made it look like a banquet hall. Because I told them what happened with the Flint Hall, and that they missed out. I thought they missed out on a big opportunity. Is it a good facility for a con? Yes, it is, Scott. If you know the community room that we set up in Flint, it's about, I would say 5 times that size. Well, maybe 3 at least. So I'm looking at least 75 to 50 tables. It's on the 2nd floor, but there's another big industrial elevator like they have at the Flint Market that was geared to take up these massive rolls of newsprint from the ground floor up to the 2nd floor, where they could load them all into the big Gutenberg press that's no longer in the facility. So that we can cart up to, I believe it's 4 tons at a time every time the elevator lifts. So we'll be able to move a lot of stock back and forth in a real quick hurry. It's a big industrial elevator.
Are we upstairs?
Yes, it's on the 2nd floor. But down below is all market. So, and there's a nice exit door that takes you right out to a gangplank type ramp where we're going to have the cosplay contest. And then you walk down a set of stairs and you're boom right in the middle of the market. And it's just like the Flint Farmers Market. It's got all sorts of different kinds of food, a couple of craftians, a couple of, your typical candle seller and craft people, that kind of thing. But it's got a lot of big variety of food. No, not all the tables are taken yet. I'm still arranging lists. I'm not turning anybody away at this point because it is such a big room. I have a show book that actually says show book, where I'm writing names and keeping table counts. I figure I'm going to stop at 20 artist tables, which they have available there at the market, and at least 50 to 70 vendor tables, which will be the 8-foot tables. The artist tables will be 6-foot tables. So, and I'll have to get the 8-foot tables in, whether I truck them up from down here or arrange them up in Saginaw. I've got to go up here really soon and get that put together. but it looks like it's going to be a good show. It should be just as good, if not better, than the Flint show. They're really promoting the heck out of it up there already, which is crazy. Every time they push a little bit of promotion, I get 3 or 4 calls for tables. So I have to make lists at this point. There's people that are contacting me that I've never heard of before. We've got a big toy guy coming in. We've got a couple dealers out of Midland that have never done the Flint show, don't do very many cons. So we'll see how it goes.
You think it's gonna have an effect on your Flint show, the fall show?
It might. I don't know. The fall show is going to be a strange one too, just like the April show, because I had to move my date around, not just because October is breast cancer month, but the date that I also had taken for the second time. My niece-in-law is getting married. So I had to move it back to September. So I moved it back to September, and lo and behold, I'm right opposite of the Monroe Con. Mm-hmm. So, and the Monroe Con has taken all of the main vendors because it's a 2-day show and it's well established. And I'm really sorry. I absolutely didn't even think to check his date because I did not mean to step on his show. Mm-hmm. But we're having it there anyway. We're stuck on that date. It might be we'll get more vendors in. I mean, I filled the show in April. You saw how big that was. I didn't have a problem filling that. We'll fill it in September again. I'm not worried. Not worried about that. There'll probably be, and it just adds to our variety at the show. Mm-hmm. You know, not the same people are there. People are in different places, and you know, I don't want people to walk in and go, oh, it's the same people as last year. Why did I come? You know? I don't want anybody to be disappointed. Mm-hmm. So that's why I charge a cheap door fee, a cheap table fee, and we just keep everybody happy.
Do you think you could that'll be your thing? You'll go to different cities.
You're locked in for June 29th, Scott. Does that mean you're coming? Susie and I are a go for the Saginaw show. Awesome, Scott. Thank you so much. I'm writing you in the book. Anyway, go ahead. Varian, I'm sorry.
You think that'll be your thing? You'll go to different cities and take over the farmers market?
Well, like I said, I'll go where I'm invited. If they have, Midland has a market, yeah, they want me to come over and do a show, we'll arrange it. Well, I keep telling Monica, I never saw myself as a convention promoter. I never did. Mm-hmm. You're in the book, buddy. You're in the book.
You can do the trait farmers market.
But I don't want to, I don't want to do a 2-day show. I just want to keep doing little 1-day shows and keep it nice and informal and fun. That's the key, just to keep it fun.
See, I like multiple day shows. I don't know why.
Oh, no, I do too. Don't get me wrong. It's nice to take a big vacation and, go and talk to friends over the time off and all that. But for me to do a 2-day show is just adding and asking for problems. Because I've seen so many of these 2-day shows end up becoming a cluster for who knows what. Somebody says the wrong word to somebody and automatically you have an enemy, and who knows what. God bless Mark Hodges for putting up with a lot of the stuff that he does for Grand Rapids. Mm-hmm. Because that is a big show. It's not an easy show. Goldman at least has people down there that he's had running the show, Marion and all of those folks down there that have run that show for years or have helped run the show. So he's got it down to a machine, which he asked to do. And he still has problems, if it's a logistics problem or who knows what. Mm-hmm. Getting people through the door fast enough who have paid for tickets problem that he has every year. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. There's always going to be problems. So we try to keep it down to a minimum and just have a 1-day, very relaxed show. My big problem is getting merchandise in, getting retailers set up, collecting money at the door, and, making sure everybody has a decent time.
Yeah, I think
those are happy problems.
That's what I always, when people get mad, I didn't get in time, and some people get mad over anything. They possibly can. And I think that in Mark Hodges' case, he has a good show that he does. it's a shame though, and I've talked to Mark a couple times about his show, and he tells me that I remember him telling me that people just seem to treat it like a small show. So he'll get these last minute cancellations out of nowhere.
I think that happens everywhere. Motor City had that problem for years, notorious with that problem.
But it's
They
only
probably
until you
still
get,
do.
it's only until you get to Grand Rapids Comic Con where you realize, holy crap! I mean, my first show I ever did for Mark Hodges or with Mark Hodges was his Grasp show, and
Oh, that grass show was an anomaly. That was not a good show to start with.
yeah, well, I know, yeah, right.
That was a big anomaly.
Yeah.
Because he had made a couple of logistics mistakes. So
excuse me, and that was the first show,
and he knew it. He figured it out really quick.
Oh yeah.
That's why he's never had another show in June. Everything's always in November.
And
October,
the
November.
next show, because I had the Grass show, I guess my opinion was a little colored. I figured, okay, well, I'm gonna go up here. You know, it'll be a small show, but you know, maybe it'll be decent.
And then boom.
Yeah, I give to the DeVos Center, and it's it's like, oh well, okay, we got a lot of room. That's cool. And it wasn't until I think the first day of the show, I went out front to meet somebody that was pulling up out front, and walking in and seeing that crowd, I knew then, holy crap,
Oh yeah,
this is a big show.
Yep.
And I was shocked. I really didn't think the show was going to be that big, but
you should have seen the one that was in the gymnasium, the first Grand Rapids Con that he did. I've never been at a show that's been more crowded.
And was that the one that was shut down by the fire department?
Well, yeah, it wasn't really shut down by the fire department, but they came in and started restricting admittance. They literally turned away about 1,500 people at the end of the day on that show, waiting to get in. The line was long, and Kurt ran out there with his R2 unit, was running it up and down the crowd. Everybody was laughing and getting their picture taken, and there were guys still in costume waiting to get in even an hour and a half before the end of the show. I was going through there handing out copies of Flint Comics. Hey, have a free Flint Comics. Here's a paper. Have a paper. Take a paper. Here's something to read while you're waiting, That's what I did. Everybody was happy to have it. I should have taken pictures of people standing in line reading the paper too. That would have been awesome for the paper.
Would have been cool.
Flint Comics invades Grand Rapids Con. But I did. It helped, and it helped the Grand Rapids shows I did after that. There's a group of probably a good couple dozen, maybe 3-4 dozen even, of people that look for me at the show, that come by and pick up the year's worth of stuff just automatically. Familiar faces. We used to burn through about a bundle, 100 every show of each issue. The new one, I'd take 2 bundles, and I'd usually come back with 50 or so of them. Are
you going to be there this year?
Yeah, Mark told me I'm on the guest list. I should be there this year. I'm invited, so I'm going.
Do you
so it'll be good.
Do you are you gonna give out the paper?
Scott's got to go. Thanks for the broadcast. I'll have to find some way to join in with you guys. Stay awesome, Scott. Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry to see you leaving, but yeah, Endgame was excellent. So I'm really glad you stopped by, buddy. You're probably already gone. I see there's only 6 watching now. So, hey, everybody else, don't be afraid to step up in that chat. Talk up.
Yeah, don't be afraid to step in. And
we're still looking. That Scott's an awesome fast typer, though. I'm glad he got in here long enough to tell me he's coming to the show. That's good to know.
Yeah, that's cool. Scott Rosen's colors. Was looking at some of the coloring work he did, but I forgot what show it was. May have been Flint. Amazing colors by hand. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was talking to Scott about him having some free enough time to maybe restart an Unforgiven in a Batman animated style. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah.
If he ever finds the time. The Fool would be cool to do in a Batman animated style too. That'd be fun.
I think that I was seeing so many people at Comic-Con this weekend. 'Cause I got so many books, people. Just I can't. I know I'm gonna be a week reading through them all, and I probably won't read them this week because I'm preparing for a con this week coming up. But
You'd never guess what I started reading today.
what's that?
Take a wild guess.
I'm going to say you started reading. Gosh. Is it okay? Give me a hint. Is it mainstream or indie?
Mainstream.
Okay. So I'm reading Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Really?
Good guess. Kelly Sue McConaughey's Captain Marvel. Actually, I read. I got a reprint volume at Ollie's, 6 issues for $1.99, which I figured was a good price. I can spare $2 to read, Captain Marvel. And actually, it has issues 7 through 11 in it. Mm-hmm. It's a second run. It's where they figure out that Chewie is a Flurkin. And it was actually good. I read issue 7. It's got Rocket Raccoon in it, and Captain Marvel actually's got some personality in it, and it read pretty good. I'm like going, well, what's wrong with this? This wasn't bad. It was completely different from the other Captain Marvel book I read because it had a constant movement to it. There was a great amount of pacing, and the story was good. The dialogue between the characters was good. Everybody had an individual voice, and it was an incredibly competent issue. And then issue 8 wasn't too bad. It was also the 7 was a nice self-contained type story too. I didn't have any problem with the continuity. I was able to jump right in, follow along. 8 was kind of jerky with they had some mutant in there that was able to teleport with music or whatever. And it was the character was kind of goofy, and they had a very basic fantasy storyline to it, but it wasn't horrible. And then I had issue 9, and I'm like, oh, this is the same problem that I ran into with the first volume. That was just trudge. Try to get through, nothing happening. They were talking to talk. And it was kind of a struggle, but I was right up to the point where they were doing a scene flashover, and it gave me the excuse to stop reading, and I stopped reading. I do plan on getting back to it because apparently they changed location. She was running around with Spider-Woman for a while as a buddy. So, and it wasn't nearly as goofy as the one that I saw your boy do a review on, one where they were fighting a large monster in San Francisco Bay, I think it was. That was just goofy. The dialogue was horrible, and it wasn't like this. There was I was impressed because Kelly Sue McConaughey kind of showed that she could write. She could write and tell a story and do good work. And it's not to say that she doesn't know how to do good work. It's just that, man, that first Captain Marvel volume was a trudge to try to read, and I still haven't read it all the way through. The second one moved a lot faster. She might really enjoy writing Rocket Raccoon. I don't know. But whatever it was a lot better than what she had been doing. So maybe somebody lit a fire under her butt, or she actually decided, we need an action adventure comic. Here we go.
I'm going to be reading. I try to read at least because they're single issues, the ones that I picked up. Try to read some of those tonight or tomorrow night. Some of them, are going to obviously be better than others.
But speaking of non-mainstream, I also picked up a couple of books. While I was at Ollie's, I picked up 4 graphic novels. I spent $20. And 2 of the graphic novels I got from Boom that were Stan Lee created characters. I never paid enough attention to realize they existed. One of them was Starborn, and there's another one that's kind of it looks like a robot-looking character. Have you ever seen those?
No.
Because they didn't read horribly bad. They're only plotted by Lee, basically created by Lee, as much as he can get his involvement in it so that they can use his name on the cover.
Right.
But they weren't horrible books. It's just I'm sitting there reading them and going, how come I've never seen these before? I don't pay that close attention, or hadn't paid that close attention to the market. I guess I got to go out and buy a previews and start looking at it again.
My comic store used to give me free previews. and
It was
walk in and he'd give them to me.
yeah.
So because of that, I have a corner in my office that is just stacked with previews.
Fire hazard.
Diamond previews just stacked and stacked and stacked.
There's
And I get
there's your newsprint. How many trees did they kill for those?
yeah, right, because those are them thick books. I started giving them to my wife to make
Use it to prop up your furniture.
no to make her.
All I need is
drawings.
another 3 issues of previews, and we got us a couch. Just put a blanket over it. There we go. Somebody did that with phone books.
There. I mean, I got, and I always say, anybody want previews? You know, it's got comic card in the kids. They're like, no, thank you. We don't want any of your diamond books, sir. Come on, kids. It's like the phone book for comics.
Oh, that's Shonen Jump, buddy. Ask Gabriel. He'll tell you. Gabe will tell you, isn't that? That the phone book for comics is Shonen Jump.
I wondered if and I think I'm coming out with Con Crud. I hope not, because I haven't got over this cough yet. But
it's only Monday.
Yeah,
I used to get them on Monday. I never got Con Crud at very many shows, except for every Chicago. Every Chicago show, I'd come back next day. Dave the Supreme wants to know, is excited for future shows. What's after Saginaw? I have a show in Flint on September 14th, but you're probably already booked into Monroe. Let me know if you're not, Dave. Dave just finished issue 3 of the Brown Family. I would like to work on something new just to take a break. So I want to burn myself out. He wants to burn himself out, take a break. So I want to burn myself out.
He doesn't want to burn himself out. Doesn't want to burn himself out.
I think he's missing a dozen in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to do that. Take a break, try to get something new. Maybe get some paid work in there if you possibly can. I
would really eventually, I want to make a shared short story universe book, either Anniverse or Hero Herd, where we use different people to do the artwork on a story that I can write. It's just that I haven't had time to breathe or do videos, let alone sit down and do my personal creative comic work.
I got a short story comic Dave might be interested in. I have to talk to him. He doesn't live that far from me. I think he's technically a neighbor almost. I know that he lives pretty close. So we'll have to get together and talk about that. And Randy, you need to let me, I keep telling you, you need to let me borrow some of your characters.
Yeah. Here's the Hero Herd.
Yeah, you told me about those.
Yeah. I've got that up on my Twitter, in the corner of my Twitter profile picture. Yeah, it's a team of superheroes, kind of like a funny animal version of Justice League. Not Captain Carrot, not goofy and really lighthearted, but just lighthearted enough and serious enough to be fun. You know, kind of like the early Teen Titans or the Byrne Austin X-Men, only with animals. So sooner or later, it seems like a project.
That looks cool.
Yeah.
It sounds fun too.
Meant to be fun. That or Tales from the Anniverse. I want to do that again eventually.
Randy, is there any title that you've ever done that you could not understand why it didn't catch on?
Oh, there's explanations for everything. Some of it's my ineptness, my inability to get the proper point across. Or I always thought that War of the Worlds would make up, and got really close for being a movie or a miniseries. Got really close a couple times. That stupid Spielberg gets in the way of that Spielberg Tom Cruise movie. Do
you think that
really messed us up? That's still solid. I've got more War of the World stories that I want to do. It's all on my bucket list, buddy.
I wonder if
got to get off my ass and start getting motivated again.
You do a War of the Worlds. Are you gonna Indiegogo it?
Man, I hope so. Well, let's see how far I can get my YouTube channel rolling. I think the immediate one though is Spank, because the market has changed so much and there's so much damn misconception out there about the market that I'm getting the urge to do that in the worst way.
And speaking of the market, maybe you can tell. I know some people haven't heard yet. Paramount Pictures,
Yeah,
purchased Atlas.
yeah.
I'm gonna let you talk about that while I go get a drink. So I'm gonna mute my microphone.
Oh, no. Keep stalling. I want to pull up some images here.
Okay. Well, while he's doing that, I will talk about it. Apparently,
that was so funny. Paramount announced that they were going to take on the Atlas Comics,
and Paramount used to distribute the first 4 Marvel movies. Their name is on Avengers only because it was part of the deal. They were Disney by then, but the Iron Man 2, Thor, and Captain America were distributed by Paramount. I'm
gonna do a spot on this anyway. I'm gonna do a video on this. But what's really cool and what's really sad and speaks to the quality of the market, of the media, I should say, is when they first started, when Paramount announced that they had picked up the Atlas line. Bleeding Cool, of course, was right on it, and they reprinted the damn press release. And they ran. Hang on, I am hurriedly grabbing this so that I can throw this up. And they hurriedly grabbed the Atlas logo.
Okay.
And anybody who's familiar with the properties of what Paramount actually bought, this is the logo that they threw up. To boast that Paramount has picked up Atlas Comics.
Okay.
Well, that's the Timely Atlas logo that any idiot who knows it's worth their salt in history knows that's the Timely Atlas logo. That's Marvel Comics. Marvel Comics still owns Atlas Timely.
Right.
The Atlas logo that they should have printed wasn't even that one. Let me find it here.
Okay.
The Atlas logo that they should have printed. Let me save it here. Should have been pulling it up here. This is difficult on spur of the moment. Scramble.
That one there.
Is that the one you can see it? Okay.
Atlas Comics,
yes, that's the Atlas Seaboard logo. That's the properties that Paramount picked up on.
Now explain the difference.
Now the difference is Atlas, Timely Atlas, was run by Martin Goodman.
Okay.
Martin Goodman, I believe it's his brother, if I'm not mistaken, contacted Larry Lieber, who's Stan's brother, and the two of them spun off in the late 70s and did this Atlas Comics. And they started a string of incredibly violent, amazingly derivative comics that all of them, there wasn't a single Atlas comic that ran to issue 4. But they did a ton of comics really fast. They tried to flood the market really quick. And this was back long before the direct market, when you had the spinner racks. So give me just a second. Didn't want you to hear my coughing. It should have knocked my camera out too. But anyway, their biggest character was a character called Tiger Man, who was a precursor to Wolverine, of a guy with tiger paws, big claws that would go around and kill people by, eviscerating them, cutting them open. And they did, like I said, this incredible line of really high-powered, violent comics. They were more violent than the old Warren black and white magazines. It was amazing that they let this stuff out on the stands, and they were constantly pushing against them. The Code Authority was still out at this point. They were constantly pushing up against the Code Authority board over just the violent content that they were running in their books. But they also went out and opened the doors to a whole flood of talent that Marvel and DC was gatekeeping and keeping out of the business at the time. This is where Walt Simonson got his first work. Klaus Janson got his first work. Chaykin had a book. Ditko came in and did a book for them because it wasn't Marvel or DC, and Ditko would work for anybody, that didn't piss him off. So he ended up doing a book for 2 issues called The Destroyer. That was, goofy and fun, guy in a blue and a red costume that would go around beating people up. Mm-hmm. Chaykin did a book called The Scorpion, which was about, if I remember right, it was about a Hollywood stuntman that fought crime in Hollywood back in the 1930s and 40s. They had a ton of comics from all sorts of different eras. Tiger Man was a superhero book. Phoenix they had was a guy that was a alien, I believe, that was superhero. Destroyer was a superhero book. They had a couple of war books. They had a couple of Western books. They had Wolf the Barbarian that went up against Conan the Barbarian. You can go do whatever you need. I can keep this running for a bit.
So that's the properties that Paramount has bought?
That's the properties that Paramount bought. You can't buy Atlas Timely properties. That's all Marvel still. Because Marvel does Agents of Atlas that uses all of those old characters.
Right. Go ahead and get talking. I'm going to go get my drink.
Okay. Well, anyway, the comic company was pretty notorious back in the 70s. They kicked out a beautiful black and white comic that was called High Adventure, I think. It ran for an issue or 2. And then they did an entire color line of books with all sorts of, like I said, all of those previous books. Plus there was a monster book called Morlock 2020. There was a Hulk type book called The Brute about a guy who turns gray and gets big, and kind of a Jekyll and Hyde situation that was kind of soap opera-y. One of my favorite titles from them was called Planet of the Vampires, which was a very much a science fiction B movie from the 50s type book about a spaceship that had I think it was 10 people on it, or 8 people, eight humans, ends up crashing on a planet that was all hostile against them. And over a period of 3 issues, they killed off so many characters. I think they were down to 2 or 3 by the end of the 3rd issue. And they were running into alien beings and all of the typical 1950s sci-fi tropes that you would find. I think Pat Broderick had a story, or was doing the artwork for that, or at least doing the penciling for that. But a lot of these guys, when Atlas shut down because they collapsed under their own weight and didn't have the money, didn't have the distribution, couldn't keep a book roll, and they tried to change direction on a lot of the characters back at their 3rd issue, which was an abrupt about face that they ended up paying for dearly. And the company ended up folding because they just didn't have the money to stay in business. They should have kicked out a lot fewer titles and concentrated on what they were doing, very much like the Lightning Comics or the guys who printed Thunder Agents started out like that, because the distribution was set up at the time that was so difficult to break that you can't just all of a sudden walk in with 24 titles and expect them to carry, and get proper distribution. So the books didn't get properly distributed. They weren't very well received overall. I mean, some of their books were really good. Tiger Man was a success, and Grim Ghost was a success, and Wolf the Barbarian was a success there for a little while. But for the longest time, you could dig through your quarter boxes at your local retailer and find these oddball, awesome books by these guys. Most of it, the artwork was incredibly competent. The writing was even pretty good, if not incredibly competent. If you still find any Atlas out there today in the dollar boxes, definitely pick them up, especially if it's issue 1 or 2, because those issues are really good. By the time they got to issue 3, most all of the properties did an abrupt about face. I think Tiger Man might have only gone 2 issues, actually. But most of the 3rd issues do an abrupt about face, and they found the cheapest, most inexpensive artists that they could find to work on the titles, because they were quickly running out of money. But there are some nice gems in there. It's an oddball thing, really, for Paramount to promote that they actually picked up that line, or at least circulated the way that they did. And it was even more typical of the current comic media to get the wrong freaking logo in that Bleeding Cool page. That's the wrong logo. Still might be up there. They probably have somebody probably politely told them or unpolitely told them that they had the wrong logo. But I looked at the article and I shook my head and I said, these guys are just proving they're idiots.
When you first saw it with Paramount purchases Atlas Comics, what was your first reaction?
I knew that they took them. I knew which Atlas they were talking about, and I, when I scrolled down on the Bleeding Cool article and saw that old Atlas logo, I just shook my head and went, "Stupid! These guys are idiots." Rich Johnston, not a journalist. He's already said so. Anyway, it's a nice run of properties, and it's a wide open field. They get enough talent on those books. They'll do okay. All depends on what they do with them. They try to modernize them and update them. They're going to run into problems. But,
do you think they're going to try to do books or movies?
Oh, no, they're doing movies. They tried to do books about 3-4 years ago. They had a company. They had Tony Isabella writing Grim Ghost. And I think that ran longer than the original Atlas line. I think that got up to issue 4 or 5 or 6, somewhere like that. The Grim Ghost character was a Victorian age vigilante guy with a horse. I think he flew. I think he was actually a ghost, or they might have turned him into a ghost at the last run or whatever. They did switcheroos on all of these properties as they went along. Scorpion, I think, only ran for 2 issues, but it was solid. Howard Chaykin. I think he ended up turning that into Dominic Fortune for Marvel. They did have a book called Demon Slayer. That was about a guy who went around and slayed demons, of course, and had a cloak that he could reach into and pull out any weapon that he needed. They ended up, David Anthony Kraft, I believe, wrote that. And he ended up putting that character in the Defenders as Demon Hunter. Or switch it around. I think it was Demon Hunter at Atlas, was Demon Slayer at Marvel. But they brought it over to Marvel. He brought it over there, gave it to Marvel, and so that he could write the character there. And he ran through Defenders for quite a while. I don't know whatever happened to the character, because I stopped reading Defenders shortly after he was introduced in there, because Defenders was an awesome title for 50, 60, 70 issues, and then it went right straight into the toilet. Writing wise, art wise, everything's just, it's one of the really hardcore suck books of the late 1880s.
Have you ever left
1980s?
You ever left the book because your favorite artist was leaving?
Over a long period of time. Take me a little while. But yeah, I mean, I read X-Men up through the, what's his face? After, because when Byrne left, I loved the Byrne stuff. The Byrne stuff still holds up. It's still amazing. The Byrne, Claremont, Austin materials, just classic stuff. And when he left, Cockrum come on for quite a while. Cockrum ran it for a bit with Claremont and Cockrum ran it. And then I can't remember who else came in after that. Smith. I'd have to look. But that he was really big with Lockheed and what's her name? Kitty Pryde.
Weren't the X-Men?
And then once he got off the book, it just went to poop.
Well, the X-Men books were known for having long runs of teams, creative teams, right?
They used to, but all those books used to have long runs of creative teams.
So is it a recent thing where they get switched around so often?
If you mean recent, since the year 2000, for me, it'd be recent. For you, that's half your reading career, probably. But no, they always used to. John Buscema was on Conan, Savage Sword of Conan, for a long time, and had a huge body. Has a huge body of work. Then even the Savage Sword books are amazing. If you catch those magazines, are just great little one-issue gems. They're like graphic novel you could pick up for $1.25. The thing with Conan, though, you get the wrong writer on it, and it gets repetitious really, really quick. Conan's riding a horse. Conan goes into the tavern. Conan drinks some ale. Conan attracts the attention of a nasty wizard or a nasty cur to hire him to do a job that's little hinky. He goes out and does a job a little hinky and runs across a wizard who creates a big whopping demon that he has to slay, and then he gets back up on his horse and rides away. That's pretty much the Conan story that was in so many issues of Savage Sword of Conan that it became really repetitious, was really rough to read. You change a MacGuffin every once in a while, or destroy the Citadel at the end, or you never really had the wizard win very much. There would be Thulsa Doom, and he'd get away at the last minute. But after a while, the writing on that got pretty lazy. But the artwork sure was pretty if you were in that kind of stuff. Shirtless He-Men. Wielding swords. Yeah. There you go. Very misogynistic during that period. Very He-Man.
Yeah.
Well, not He-Man. That's a whole different thing. He has the power. But you know what I mean. Very misogynistic type stuff. But yeah, that was back when the Atlas period was running. They were only out for maybe 6 months at most. Like I said, long enough for every issue to hit 3. I think they were all bi-monthly issues.
If some movie company were to come through today and just start, well, I remember that being one of Wizard's promises about 2 years ago, that they struck a deal with Sony, and Sony execs would be crawling Artist Alley and crawling the small press publisher.
Yeah, you see how that worked out.
For talent and for
there was Platinum
the properties.
Platinum Studios for a while had an open door policy. Send us your stuff. We want to look at your stuff for potential movies and all that. I think Men in Black was the only thing that come out of that. Maybe Cowboys and Aliens come out of that. But other than that, they were just out looking to see what everybody else was doing, so that they could steal one from column A and one from column B. And suddenly somebody in their wide house of creativity is working on a book that's amazingly similar to the property that you sent them, but just different enough.
Yeah.
So that it keeps anything from being hinky.
Do you think,
in my opinion,
do you think it was ever a matter of well, I mean, obviously you just said it, it was, let's see what they're making out there. Let's get some free creativity. Let's get some free R&D. That's
DC. Marvel don't do that anymore. They don't go out to shows and look for talent, because they'd be amazed at what was out there. Old Didio's so sure that there's no good talent left out there. That's why we're cutting back to 52 titles. That's because he's not looking. He's not looking, and he's not looking with an open enough mind, because there's enough people out there. That's okay, though. You keep chasing these people off, they're just going to start Indiegogo's and reinstill the business.
That would have been a good question for you to ask Jim. And you probably would have had the
Jim was there at Motor City. I'm sure he didn't walk through Artist Alley.
No, but I mean, like, you would have.
That would have been the smart thing for him to do as chief creative officer of DC Printing.
But like, as if you were sitting there in that panel, you have the stones to ask Jim, hey, what do you think about Didio's comment that there's no talent out there?
I'd ask him if he bothered to walk through the Artist Alley.
Yeah.
Why don't you walk through Artist Alley, take a look at the talent level that's out here, because it's sure, there's some guys out there that are amateurish looking, and there's some guys out there that are doing products that shouldn't do products, but there's a lot of other people out there that would give their eye teeth to draw even a second or third tier DC book, or even to do a short story for them just to see if they could perform. There's more than enough talent out there. They just refuse to see it, and they refuse to use it. You can't draw like, that's also a big complaint that I have. There's too many people out there who want to draw realistic in a art form, in a industry that thrives on fantasy and, magic and entertainment. That's not necessarily realism, but Marvel and DC are so intent on being as realistic as possible.
Yeah. I think I sent you the meme with Captain America's boot.
Yeah. Exactly that. All of a sudden he's got laces. Same thing with Batman. All of a sudden he's got a muckluck, he's got big, thick treads and all that. It didn't have that before. Of course, he could always slide across the top of buildings too. He can't do that anymore either. He could do a circus on Mars. He doesn't do that anymore either.
Yeah, this is
and you don't see those stories reprinted. Let's see them do 100-page super spectacular that's got these just one. That's all they have to do. Just one with a bunch of crazy outlandish stories in it, and see how it moves. I'd be interested to see how that worked. Of course they won't do it. They've had so many opportunities that DC just refuses to see. They've got a catalog that's this thick. What do they got? 60,000 intellectual properties that they could be working on, and freaking Warner executives, all they want to concentrate are on the top 7. You know, and maybe if somebody comes up and wants to lease one of the other lower ones, you can take that one. You know, where's the Plastic Man movie? That's what I want to know. They could do a 1940s era Plastic Man movie. They could do a Plastic Man cartoon right now that would kick some ass. They just don't do it.
Well, there's a Plastic Man cartoon on the DC Universe app, but I mean, you got to have that to check it out.
Well, yeah. Well, the stuff they were doing on Cartoon Network was amazing. I'd love to see a manga version of Amethyst. It's way long overdue that they did. They need to do a full series on that. There's all these different gems and everything else going on that Mishkin created that would be just phenomenal and attract a more feminine market, you know. And that they should have always been doing that. Like I tell everybody that their biggest missed opportunity is they want to turn Adam Strange into Buck Rogers instead of Flash Gordon. They want to turn him into a spaceman when really the thing is a science fiction romance book. The entire point of Adam Strange, at least to me, when I was reading it, was that you had this guy, and the concept is still something that I would give my eye teeth to write at DC. You've got this kid who figures out that there's this zeta beam that the scientist on this far distant planet is shooting at Earth and picking shit up from. Just to understand Earth culture. He's an archaeologist. He's down in South America. He gets hit by that beam out of the blue. Didn't realize it was there before. Gets hit by the beam, wakes up on a distant planet. Has to learn their language, or he ends up getting some sort of a universal translator in him. Is introduced to a whole different civilization on Ran, a whole different planet that's got all of these problems, and a race who can't think logically. And barely scientifically. This guy was scientific enough to make a beam that would shoot down to Earth, but he can't solve the world's problems because it takes an Earth guy with the cojones up on this distant planet to tell these guys how they need to solve their problems using logic instead of force, right? So while he's up there on this distant planet, he finds this girl, a really cute girl that really, he instantly falls in love with. But whenever the zeta beam wears off, he gets zapped back down to Earth. And so now he has to go around trying to figure out where that zeta beam's going to hit. And he set up that zeta beam years before to hit different places on the Earth. And he's been bombarding the Earth with this zeta beam over and over and over again for years, because of the time light, the time that light and the beam takes to travel from Ran to Earth. He's still shooting down the zeta beam all this time, and Strange has to figure out what location that beam's going to hit at so that he can jump in there so that he can go back to Ran because he wants that girl. Every time he gets up there, he's after that girl, and the planet ends up having a world crisis that he has to step in and solve. He solves it just at the point where he gets to go on the picnic with the girl. The beam wears off and he ends up back on Earth. There's a lot of potential there.
They had the animated series, the Zeta Project. Remember that?
No.
Yeah, it was an animated cartoon called the Zeta Project, and it was a DC.
Were they talking about the guy from Ran shooting the Zeta beam down to Earth?
Well, let's find out, because I didn't watch it.
Oh, but that to me that just hits me as a young adult romance series like you wouldn't believe that. That somebody could sit down and do a prose series off of. That would be awesome. You can even modernize that to today and get away with it really well. It's just that whenever he jumps back to Ran, he's in like a 1950s Flash Gordon type setting. I'd put him back in the helmet with the big fin and the crazy little jetpack with the 2 tubes, and, have him in the ridiculous old Buck Rogers outfit and have him know it looks ridiculous. But he goes back in time, technically, and their civilization. And they're in a Art Deco, strange cityscape looking civilization.
So the Zeta Project, American science fiction animated television series produced by Warner Bros. Animation, first aired on Kids WB in January 2001. It's a spin-off series based on the character Zeta from the Batman Beyond episode of the same name. Consequently, it is set in the DC animated universe. The show was created by Robert Goodman or Preservation, but it says the Zeta Project follows the exploits of Zeta and Ro as they attempt to prove that he is a genuinely non-violent robot, I guess, whereas the NSA agents pursuing him believe.
Oh, that's from Batman. That was from Batman Beyond.
Right, and they made a whole series out of it.
Yeah, that was a robot thing. Yeah, that's got nothing to do with the Zeta Beam.
Yeah,
I heard and
Zeta
Adam Strange.
Yeah.
And right now they'd have a hard time doing Adam Strange because it's too close to Doctor Strange anyway.
Yeah.
So they probably aren't interested in pursuing that property.
I always thought that it was really weird when they would have Hugo Strange on Gotham. It's like
well, I read those old Englehart books when Hugo was in there.
Mm-hmm.
There was a whole run there that Steve Englehart and Marshall Rogers did. That's just classic. It's amazing stuff. If you haven't read it, definitely read it. But there's a set of Roger Stern and Marshall Rogers Doctor Strange books that are phenomenal. He was on it for 6-7 issues, I think. Mm-hmm. Marshall always had a hard time making hitting a hard deadline. But the Batman stories that he did with Englehart that were in Detective Comics were really good. He did a Joker Fish story, and there was a whole probably 6 to 8 issues there that they did together. It's just classic stuff. I'm sure they've reprinted it all in one volume before. But the Doctor Strange books, when they announced that they were putting Clea in Brother Voodoo in Doctor Strange 2, the first thing that popped into my head, there is an awesome self-contained Doctor Strange story that I love that Roger Stern wrote that Marshall Rogers drew. That's got Brother Voodoo, who they were trying to, this is past the black exploitation period. Brother Voodoo hasn't been out for a long time. Mm-hmm. Brother Voodoo pops up at Strange's sanctuary, and Strange looks at him and goes, "This is some stupid little sage magician with some smoke bombs. What's his problem?" And Clea is enamored by him. She thinks that he is the shit. Mm-hmm. And he goes, "I am tracking the demon that's been bothering me the entire run of Savage Tales and my my Brother Voodoo comic series, and I've tracked him to New York, and I'm going to find him and track him down and take care of him because I am Brother Voodoo." And Strange is like looking at him going, "Okay, Mac, whatever, do what you, I guess." And then the demon comes in and kind of zooms through really fast. Mm-hmm. And something happens. He does something to Brother Voodoo that dismisses him or sends him to another dimension or whatever. I don't know. But Doctor Strange is then left with the task of tracking the demon down. And it's a typical story of a guy in a farmyard chasing after a greased pig. And he's trying to track him down and trying to track him down, catching him, missing him. And finally he captures him in the mystic bands of whatever. And the demon fronts him. "Do you not know who I am? I am whatever demon." And this character has been literally terrorizing Brother Voodoo for the entire existence of Brother Voodoo's strip. "I will decimate you. I am this, I am that." And Strange looks at him and he goes, oh, no, you're just a parademon with delusions of grandeur. He goes, you're beneath my contempt. And he goes like that. And the demon into nothing. And then he turns to Clea and says, that thing was bothering him this whole time. He's just a silly stage magician with some tricks. Here, that'll bring him back. There we are. Dude, solved your problem. "Oh, thank you, Dr. Strange. You're such a wondrous guy. And now I'm going to mystically disappear." And, he drops a smoke bomb and Clea goes, "Oh, he's such a wonderful guy." And he's like, "Dude,
you serious?"
Smoke bomb. Whatever. He's like, "I'm the freaking Sorcerer Supreme. What the heck?" But it really played up his ego, and his, I could see Cumberbatch doing that real easy. And that would make a hell of an issue or a hell of a movie if they would bother to sit down and just adapt that. All you got to do is adapt that story. They could stretch that MacGuffin out and have him chasing all over New York City, bumping into Spider-Man, bumping into everybody else, Hey, Matt Murdock. Hey, see a demon walk by? I'm looking for this demon. He's like a greased pig. I can't find him anywhere. Well, I can see him because I've got radar sense. He's right over there.
That'd be cool.
I could see that happen. That would be a cool, and it would be lighthearted. Just a lighthearted, quick, 2-hour jaunt. And then at the end, he's finally got the demon, and the demon's all, looking big and trying to, stiffen up in front of him and have Strange like look at him and go, you ain't nothing. Pooh, gone.
That'd be kind of cool.
That's a cool story. It's still, it's one of those stories that still sticks into your mind years and decades after you read it. I'm going to have to dig that up now when I go through my long boxes. My incredibly large stack of long boxes, by the way, over there that are mostly my wife's, because she did all the comic buying. I traded all my comics in for collectible hardbacks as I was going along, but she's got a huge collection over there. Probably, I don't know, 75 or so long boxes. Big collection.
Well,
anyway, sorry to get off the subject.
No problem. No problem.
You get me talking about the stuff I like, and I can go all day.
No problem at all. I mean, it's excuse me. I feel myself starting to get worse, so I'm gonna go dose up a NyQuil myself.
Are you? Well, go ahead and do that while we're on camera. Watch it drift away. Pretty soon you'll be babbling about stuff you won't remember in the morning. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that. Let's see what I said. If I said anything wrong, oh my God.
No, we
suddenly you'll be talking about all sorts of people. That'll be awesome. How many people we got listening to us? Anybody?
Let me see here.
I haven't looked at the chat lately, so I'm sorry. Oh, Lewis finally found us.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
Dave the Supreme, Future Show Saginaw. I just finished issue 3. Yep. Ted Davies, I've got some stories too, some short stories too, Dave. That's what I'm working on, short stories. Gabe says they print the phone books of multiple titles instead of the single comic booklets. Yeah. Companies, that was back on. Hey, didn't know you were on tonight. Yeah, sorry, Lewis. I posted a couple of things. We just decided to get on because Varian had stuff to talk about the show. Did you talk about everything you wanted to talk about from Motor City?
Yeah,
I know we went off on some crazy tangents.
For the most part, I'm just
that was
I think that the people that are doing comics right now, there's going to definitely be a change in the way indie comics are being sold, and I think that the cream of the crop they'll start to rise eventually, but.
I'm hoping that you're going to see some variety out there because there desperately needs some comics in all of its forms. It deserves to be out there. The expensive books deserve to be there. The cheapy comics, in order to get kids in who don't have the money or who don't want to, spend the $50 for the book, can go out and still buy a book for a book for $1 or $2 and be it like an alternative comic newsprint, not the best quality, not the worst quality. And lose themselves in entertainment, That's why I was so happy to do Flint Comics for as long as I did, because I knew that there were kids out there reading it of all demographics, of all types. It was a big, large readership for that paper. So I'd have kept it going if I could. Did you see Sean Mack's short fuse at MCCC?
I didn't. I didn't know if Sean had made it through. I know that he had mentioned that he was he hoped he was going to stop by someone's table at one point. I'm not sure if he made it though.
We did have Scott Rosema go through the chat tonight. That was good. He came and went. He's going to be at the Saginaw show. Oh, by the way, everybody, make sure you hit that like button down there on at the bottom of the YouTube page. Or hit the don't like button. It still goes and helps for our demographics. So, especially since Indie Volt only has 217 subscribers.
Yeah, that's quite sad. We're
I told you I gained about 10 or 15 subscribers since I stopped doing videos.
That's the secret. Stop doing videos. You'll get
no, that's not the secret. The secret is to get back up doing those videos. I got to get back up on it. I'm way behind.
You'll get more subscribers if you don't film anything.
Well, I still have that one, our comics Kitty Trash, that has a huge hit count. So it's like 20, 30, 40. Suddenly there's like 5,000. Then it slowly drops back down to the 20, 30, 40 that I was having before. I think you stopped playing it on your Indie Volt. That's what it is.
Indie Volt Radio. Yeah. I haven't gotten there in a minute and did some stuff, but I really need to.
Hey, Indie Volt Radio people, get up on YouTube and subscribe to the Zim Geek channel. That's pretty soon there'll be special stuff, new stuff up there one of these days. So.
Let's see.
And if you haven't subscribed to Indie Volt on YouTube, subscribe there too. And we kick around a couple hours a week. That's cool. MCC number MCC C19 Aftermath Edition.
Yep.
Why'd you decide to call it 19?
Well, Motor City Comic Con 19.
Oh yeah. 2019. I keep forgetting. Yep. We started streaming only 38 minutes ago, according to this.
I think it's a lie.
It's a lie.
Yeah.
Well, hey, maybe I should update the page then. We might have more people listening. Updating now. Nope, we lost a viewer. 5 watching.
No.
So, sorry. Anyway, yeah, click that like button. When we're up here again, it's normally Tuesdays at 9 o'clock. We probably won't be up tomorrow night unless Varian's feeling good. Wants to do this again. We can find stuff to talk about. So
I don't think Sean made it to the convention. I think Lewis is asking.
Yeah, Lewis is asking. I'm not sure if we're going to do tomorrow, Lewis. We're not sure. Varian wanted to talk, and I could have used the diversion. I've been working on my flyer for the Saginaw Comic Con all day, and I'm kind of stuck on it. So it's like Varian wanted to talk about gossip from the Motor City Con. So it's like, you want to go tonight? We can go tonight.
That's right. Hot, sensuous gossip. Find out who did what at the after party.
Most of it forgotten by a running nose and a need for NyQuil.
Yeah. I do know though that there is, I can tell you this, and I won't say there is a and for those of you who came in late,
there's a wild conspiracy out there.
There is a number of talented individuals, writers and artists who are very unhappy with a particular company, and it's
do a blind item and send it to Rich Johnston, will you?
Yeah.
It's the type of gossip that he would print.
And unhappy with management of that company, and it's one of those things where you hear things and I'm both press and a publisher, so I have to walk this very thin line of what's ethical, or some stuff I don't I walk away from listening to because it's just like it's none of my business. But
just chalk it up as none of your business.
Yeah, I try to. Hey, you're recording a Dutch angle now.
Am I?
Yeah, let's see. Say something.
Say something.
Oh, it fixed now. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, this cool Dutch angle.
Oh, that's cool. I'm going back to that.
Yeah.
Here we go. It's all right. We'll do that. Adds to the static. It's all good.
Looks like the first Thor movie.
The first Thor movie?
Yeah, everything was filmed in Dutch angles.
Oh, was it?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that movie now.
Yeah, watch.
That's Branagh.
Yeah.
Branagh.
Yeah. Nothing in the movie is shot straight on. Everything is.
I'm turning the camera sideways. Doing a sideways movie. I turn the camera sideways. And let me move that up just a little. There we go. That's probably better. How's that? It's still missing. Right there. It should be aimed right at me.
There we go. Yeah.
There we go. That's an earthquake. No. Everything's falling. Anyway.
So yeah, I think that overall Motor City Comic Con was a pretty cool for us, at least, was a success. We're looking forward to C4 this weekend. After that, we got a couple weeks off, and we're gonna hit Wizard World Philly. I've never done that show.
When's Wizard World Philly?
June.
Better not be the 29th.
No, it's not 29th. It's not 29th. It's It is June 13th through the 16th. 4-day show.
Wow. How's that going to work?
Same way the Chicago show works. Barely.
Barely.
Now let's see who they've got coming. They've got Ted Danson.
No way.
Yeah.
The Ted Danson?
The Ted Danson is coming now.
How incredible.
I will share it. Let me just close on my porn.
That just shows you how, yeah, you know, don't show us your porn.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see that horse.
Excuse me. Let's see here. Green shell.
I still have that Atlas logo up.
So Ted Danson, and excuse me, I'm going to butcher some of these names. Lana Perella from Once Upon a Time. Always thought she was.
Oh yeah, she's pretty cute.
Yeah. Ben
McKenzie.
Gordon.
He's got nothing happening. Marina Baccarin. Yeah.
From Gotham as well. Ian Somerhalder. Rebecca Matter.
Where is this at?
Philly. Yeah. Westworld, Philadelphia.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. At least now I don't have to drive all the way over to Philly.
Jared,
I'm like looking at this like, well, Monica would want to see that person. Well, Monica would want to see that person. Well, I wouldn't mind getting, Marina Baccarin's autograph.
And
photo and get her with me in that Jim Lee pointing at me pose.
Jared Gilmore, Makad Brooks, Jeremy Jordan, Hale Appleman, Stella Maeve,
Dang, look at that list.
Yeah. Jewel State.
Who was Jeremy Jordan? He hasn't been on Supergirl for a couple of seasons because they replaced him, or at least one season. They replaced him with Brainiac 5. But that guy from The Magician, the girl from The Magician, she's pretty hot. I bet she's really short, though. Adam Baldwin, he's kind of cool.
Yeah.
He's tall.
Jewel State.
Holly Marie Combs. Wow. Yeah. It's like she doesn't have anything going on. Keep scrolling. Drew Fuller. He looks familiar.
Charmed.
He must be on the new Charmed. Is he on the new Charmed?
I think
might have been on the old Charmed, the way that looks.
Yeah.
American Pie franchise. Kevin Conroy. Holy crap.
Yeah.
This is in Philadelphia?
Yep.
Yeah, that's somebody I'd like to meet.
Lindsey Jones. Kara Eberly from Ruby.
Eberly.
Ruby voice cast. Yeah, the Ruby
voice. That's Kara Eberly from Ruby. Aaron Zeck. Barbara Dunkelman. Also
more guests coming soon.
I love that more guests.
Let's see who's coming for comics. Let's see.
The inimitable Carl Potts. I use anything that will make a black mark. I remember that. Mustafa Musa.
Yeah, I know Mustafa. He's a good friend. Jeremy Clark. Jed Thomas. Drew Blank.
Joe Wass. Rusty
Mike
Gilligan.
Watson.
Mike Watson.
Yep, Mike Watson, Freestyle Comics. Does stuff with Short Fuse and Sean Mack.
Okay.
Some
Oh my Sophie.
Yeah, cosplayer. Official cosplay guest.
Mixed in with the comic artist. Okay.
Yeah.
Anarchy Graphics. Art of Megan Whitney. Just her art, not her.
Mm-hmm.
Neil R. King illustration, just his illustration. Jamal Jones.
And the other guy there, some guy named Dave Brown.
Right there. Dave Brown.
Yeah, there he is.
Where is he? He's down farther. Oh yeah, right there. Dave the Supreme.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. As opposed to Dave the Vente.
Let's see who else do we have.
That's a more shorter, inferior version of Dave the Supreme.
Catherine Calmia, Short Fuse. She'll be there as well.
Short Fuse Media. Where did I hear them?
They're from Southfield, Michigan.
Okay.
Sean Mike's.
Oh yeah, Company. Gotcha now. Got it. Yep.
Let's see here.
Why comics? Because we like them.
Yeah, that's how I've got a chance to meet him. He's got a cool deal for his books. I think it's all 8 for $25. All 8 issues.
That's cool.
Of kinetic.
Looks interesting.
That's pretty decent.
It's a guy that can channel kinetic energy.
Yeah, I believe he does.
I figured that out all by myself.
Joshua Goldstein, C-Dub Art. There's people I don't know. I'm just naming names. Insomnia Scroll.
Insomnia Scrawl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Geek Boy Press, Jamie Tyndall, who we all know.
Geek Boy Press. That sounds familiar.
Have let's see.
Jason Oakes. I bet he doesn't really look like that.
I didn't see
Scroll
it.
up. Scroll up.
That's some of his art. Yeah.
I think that's what Jason Oakes looks like.
No, I doubt it.
Okay.
Think that.
I bet that's what Jen Taylor looks like, though. That's pretty awesome. I like that cartoon.
Let's see here.
Rooms by Roman. He designs rooms.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
We Are All Corrupted. That's my favorite band.
we'll have
That's got to be a rock band. That's a cool name.
I could have sworn I seen. I seems like I seen that art at Motor City. I'll take a look at it. 66 Batmobile, Ramrod, Super Troopers Police Cruiser.
I hope he
Jurassic
gets 2
Park.
badges.
Thor, Supernatural Impala, and Jurassic Park 29.
Chicago Costume Company all the way in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
HB Comics, Hanna-Barbera. Who knew?
No.
Those don't look like Hanna-Barbera comics. Midwest Sports, all the way over. Esports, all the way over in Philly. Twink. Good name for a company.
Victor Dandridge.
I'm a twink.
Tony Kim. On the entertainment stage
Tony
is a
Kim.
band called Friend Zone. Don't want to be in the Friend Zone. I don't really want to be in the Friend Zone.
That looks like another band, not as good as We Are All Corrupted.
Let's check out We Are All Corrupted. What are they? A traditional artist, specializes in detail and surreal pen and ink illustrations, mostly sticking with the macabre aspect.
It's a beautiful piece of art. He's missing his calling, though. That's an awesome name for a band.
Somebody said the same about my website.
Yeah.
My website is When We Riot.
Yeah. Also a good name for a band.
Yeah.
Kid Riot, also good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the.
You should take that as a pen name. Where are the old dudes? Where's the old guest list? Kevin Conroy. Where's the classic comics list?
That's it. That's it, friend.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a widget show. I mean,
see what general admission is.
Feel that you're making light of Wizard here. Feel that you're. I feel as though you're playing Wizard for laughs.
Is this a Wizard World Con?
Yep. General admission is $34.99
per day. No, 4 day admission's $140.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to Disney World.
A priority 4-day admission is $139. The 4-day admission.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, regular 4-day admission is $94.99 plus tax.
Want to see what I got? What I would get for that? VIP packages. I can get the Adam Baldwin VIP Gold package.
That's still not the biggest. Ben McKenzie.
$309.
Who is Ben McKenzie again?
Commissioner Gordon on Gotham.
Oh yeah. There you go.
Somebody's more than him.
I still say the guy who played Alfred is John Pertwee's son.
Yeah.
if they don't cast him in a Doctor Who movie here pretty soon, playing the second Doctor, they are missing out on a huge opportunity because he looks and sounds so much like his dad. It's not even funny.
The
guy who
summer holder package is more. It's $349.
Where is it?
The Ian Somerhalder package.
Oh yeah, that's the guy from Vampire Diaries. Yeah.
Oh, Ted Danson, $359.
Ka-ching! Meet the Ted.
So you'll get the 4-day pass to Wizard World. That's nice. Dedicated VIP check-in, which means you get to go before other people. Collectible VIP badge. Early entry to the show floor all 4 days. VIP lines for autographs and photo ops. Local and show floor discount package. VIP sitting at programming stations.
I hate to say this, but this is probably a package you should pick up.
Yeah.
Because go there, get your picture taken with him, and take 2 mugs. And that would be the awesome last call profile picture, dude. I am not lying. Ted Danson from Cheers. Everybody knows who he is.
Everybody knows his name.
And just have him. Yeah, exactly. Have you clicking glasses and both of you pointing at each other, looking at the camera.
You get a Walking Dead #1 variant comic cover.
That I live for that.
VIP only giveaways at select vendors and artists.
One
VIP gift
Ted
bag.
Danson autograph.
Yep. 8x10 photo, your choice. With signature ticket. You can have talent sign the photo or another item on site. Note that the talent has a right to refuse to sign any item they consider offensive. Includes personalization, autograph, barcode, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But
that's interesting. They put that little note in there because talent has the right to refuse to sign an item they consider offensive, because that's kind of what got Vic in trouble on the kick Vic thing.
Yes,
somebody took him some fan art of a couple of his same-sex characters kissing, and he's not a fan of the same-sex marriage. He refused to sign it, so they started this whole kick Vic campaign. So all of a sudden, it's like, well, he kissed me on the cheek, and I didn't like it.
Good friend of mine, Josh Lyman, his Basis of Drawing 101 class, $20. Creator U workshop with Oh My Sophie is $20. And
what is that? I wonder if that's got a limit to it.
Explain limit.
How many people can sit in the class?
Oh, I'm not sure. It's in a panel room. Let's see if they put any information here. No, they didn't say. But I can always ask. Josh.
It's probably unlimited.
Yeah, but
probably a large room in front of some tables.
And I, honestly, Randy, it's I see that's something you should do. Sign up for.
I don't want to sound like a snob here, but I would ask for more money.
Well,
unless it was so unlimited that they could and they would have to guarantee me a certain amount.
Well, they don't have to pay the table.
At $20, if there were 5 people, I'd be happy.
They don't have to pay,
but
for table.
When I teach class after school, I get a lot more than that.
Yeah, I mean, from some of those guys are doing it for free tables though.
Oh yeah, well, hey, that's completely different. They want to put me in there, and they guarantee that some of that money, say even half of it, goes to a charity. I'd do it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they flew me out there.
Mm-hmm.
They flew me out there. They gave me a free table. I'd even pay for my hotel room. Now you can charge $20 for people to come in. I'd gladly teach a cartooning course for that. Mm-hmm. And then everything beyond expenses, say even half of it goes to a charity. That'd be awesome. I'd want to do more than one on a 4-day show, though. I'd like to do one on a Thursday, if it's a Thursday through Sunday show, and then again on a Saturday. So that the people on Thursday could talk about, especially with me being an unknown quantity, especially in Philadelphia. Who the hell is this Randy Zimmerman guy? I'd like to sit there and do a quick cartooning hour and then, do another one on Saturday, because I bet I could get more people in there. I've been doing it forever. So.
I can tell you that is something that they probably will look at doing.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That would just be fun, especially, with my old Gandalf look. Be good. Here's this old white-haired dude teaching us how to cartoon. Hey, true believer, just sit there and draw circles. It'll be great. You can do it. Yeah.
Anyway. You'd be a part of the Wizard World family.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And I already am part of the Wizard World family, buddy. I am the guy who did that monkey book.
Yeah.
that they graded on the edge. I was on the edge for an entire month.
The circle will be complete.
I felt like it too. The circle will be complete. Yeah. It'd be like, you're paying for my hotel room. You're paying for my plane trip. Well, forgive me for every bad thing I said about you over the last 30 years. You guys are great. Suddenly I'm Rich Johnston. Here, give me some booty. Yeah, buddy. Wizard World's phenomenal. I can say that because I don't like him. I got a website. I'll run your press release. Anyway, I won't say anything more.
Poor Rich.
I am not a journalist. I'm going to make that big on a shirt if I ever go to a show that he's at. I am not a journalist, Rich Johnston. And then put the Bleeding Cool logo right underneath it.
I guess to him that
I could do it.
That means he doesn't have to be held accountable for anything he says.
No, that just means he doesn't consider him. He knows he's not a journalist. Yes, Lewis, they had Carol Potts. Oh yeah, well that's true. I guess they did have an old guy. Yeah, Bleeding Stool. There we go. Lewis calls it Bleeding Stool, Bleeding Fool. It's more like it, but that site's already taken by an actual journalist. But anyway, somebody who wants to report on some actual news instead of just run press releases. It's okay. It's all right. Don't forget the DC Zombie line coming soon, because Marvel made money at it 8 years ago. Or was it 10 years ago? Was it 15 years ago? It was 15 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
DC can do it now. Yes, it's coming. We're sitting on 2 decades worth of beautiful Sheldon Mayer sugar and spike artwork that nobody knows, is not even familiar with the character, but it's primo work, only printed in England or Europe for decades. But we're going to do DC Zombies. It's okay. Even at his worst day, Sheldon Mayer, it's better than half of them guys that are working today. You don't even know who he is.
No. See, I'm afraid now I'll go research him after
my next video is comics history important? That's going to be, I think that's going to be my next video. I was going to talk about Carol Danvers, but I think everybody else has talked Carol Danvers out.
Here's the other section of
Wizard. She is a horse that is long dead.
Here's the other section of Wizard that I'm at quite a bit.
File date, quarterly report, annual report. What is that? Investor relations.
Yeah, I have stock in Wizard.
Oh yeah. I forgot. Absolutely. How's that stock doing, buddy? Yep. Should have invested in Disney.
I
should have invested in Lion Forge. Watch him grow. Not a stock tip. Probably not even open. Not even publicly traded.
Yeah, my
publicly berated, not publicly traded.
My current Wizard stock is a lot cheaper than when I purchased it at.
Ka-chink. Ka-toink, 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 ka-toink. There's a name I haven't seen in quite some time. Garib Sheamus.
There it is.
19
cents.
Your name is your destiny.
And I opened at 14 cents though. Opened at 14 cents. So
opened at 14 cents, closed at what? 19 cents?
Mm-hmm.
Ka-ching. No, it didn't. It opened at 20 cents, didn't it?
Opened 14.
Oh yeah, there you are.
Opened at 14. Closing. The low today was 14. They haven't done the reverse split yet, though. They haven't done the reverse split.
They're not going to do that until it hits over $1. Are they? That's barely a penny stock, dude.
It hasn't been a buck.
It is a penny stock, actually, isn't it? Wow, look at that line.
That was the most it's been. September 5th, 2014.
I haven't seen a downward growth graph like that since I looked at the last solar minimum chart.
It was $1.15, September 5th, 2014. And I've been losing money ever since.
Look at that.
I didn't admit.
Well, buddy, you know what that means? There's plenty of room for growth.
Yeah.
There you go.
Admittedly,
CEO.
I didn't get in. I got in, gosh, a long time ago.
It was founded in 2001. You probably should have sold right before 2015.
I was.
Looks like everybody else did.
I got in at around, it was 2000. Must have been 2009. Yeah, it was.
So
And,
you've gained and you've lost hundreds of tens of dollars.
yeah. Yeah. I'll buy you a certificate for your birthday.
Oh, that's okay.
I'll buy you $100 worth of Wizard stock.
Yeah, well, it's $100 worth of Wizard stock. There you
At
go.
this rate, it's enough to get your seat at the table.
Is it? That'd be a table. That'd be an interesting table.
Yeah.
Be an interesting table to go in and slowly buy up. That would be hilarious. Hi guys, I'm in charge. Guess what? We're down to 1-day shows, but we're gonna do them all over the place, and they're gonna be fun.
Oh, I can hear them now. What? 1-day shows? We're not doing 1 day. This is Wizard World. We don't do anything less than the 3-day show.
We're gonna start the magazine back up again, and it's gonna be a newspaper.
The magazine.
We're gonna blow comic book news right out of the water.
Comic book news.
Exactly. That'd be more like comic book news. What the hell is that?
Isn't that what Bleeding Cool is for? Why do we need to do it?
Do they even have a news site anymore, Wizard? Did they shut that down
They
too?
shut that down.
Yeah.
There was talk of bringing back the magazine, even as an annual thing at shows.
That would be silly. They need to do it back up on newsstand. They need to do a cheaper format though. Just kick it out. Even if it looks like those old little cheesy B movie rags that you used to get, they should kick it back out on newsprint, black and white. Whatever they have to do. Is that Chris Claremont? Holy crap.
It's Rocky Horror Picture Show.
It's Rocky. Who is that from Rocky Horror Picture Show?
No idea, because it's not Tim Curry.
Oh, no, Barry Bostwick. That's who it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Wow.
This is the Wizard World YouTube.
Please buy our stock. Please buy our stock. Jeppy Family Enterprises, the parent company, the parent entity of Diamond Comics Distributors, Alliance Games Distributors, and other Jeppy-owned companies, announced a number of structural and leadership level changes. They've made it office of the chairman, comprised of Jeppy as chairman, of course, and CEO, current GFE executive representative Joe Foss as vice chair, and Stan Heidman, who will join the team as president. That's, who knows? I don't know what that's got to do with much. They can arrange those deck chairs as much as they can. That ship still hit that iceberg. And it's gaining water really fast. In fact, it's starting to spill over the first compartment. They better start worrying.
The indie level.
They just figured out them lifeboats is filled with people running Indiegogo campaigns. That's what it is. They should be holy crapping about any time now.
This
You know that IV2 CVQ numbers that come out. The only reason they're up is because of them Indiegogo campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't want to say it.
They
group it all together as crowdfunding, and all these SJWs are going, yeah, Kickstarter, and your boys Zach and Ethan are sitting there snickering, going, hey, guess what? We're now 2% of the damn market, according to this graph. 2%.
All those thinking of the industry as the Titanic, I can't help but think of just going
and to keep up with that metaphor, that iceberg's been scraping along the side of the ship for the last 10 years.
Yeah, but like
just now pulling away from it and going, oh, hey, it's kind of getting wet in here.
I keep thinking about going down to the lower levels where they kept the poor people at, but instead, because it's the
steerage
industry,
steerage down in steerage. Yeah, that's the green section, dude.
Yeah, there's just boards and pencils.
That's the green section that they just want to dry up and blow away. Instead, they chase them off and they start Indiegogos.
There's boards and pencils floating.
Yeah.
Couple bodies.
There you go. Pieces of original art floating by.
Yeah.
Good Lord. That looks like Cerebus the Aardvark. Jeppy just announced both Diamond and Alliance game distributors are entering a new banking relationship with JP Morgan Chase. Yeah, well, you go back on JP Morgan Chase's reputation, and that kind of makes sense. Because, they're all getting into the same clown car. That's all I can tell you. Both Alliance and Diamond are on the verge of bankruptcy, and they have been for the last 3 years. They're just barely hanging on. They lose another 500 stores. Let's see where they're running.
Yeah. And it looks like they're going to end up, I think that by this time next year, they may be witnessing that very situation, 500 stores closed, because I've been talking to comic shop owners. I was just at the con, and they were saying, how's business doing at your store? And they're concerned.
Just walk into any of your local comic shops and ask them how business is going. Watch their face.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to lie to you, but at the same time, they don't want to tell you.
I talked to a store owner who told me, said when it was kind of suggested to them that they keep their mouths shut about how their business is doing.
Well, that's the whole thing. That was part of that DDO mess.
Yeah.
But they told the retailers to shut up because nobody needs to know how bad this market is. Here comes some numbers that look awesome. And it's all because of the Indiegogo campaigns. None of that's going to the retailer. That's all money that's going into the market that's helping Ethan afford his new house. That's what that's doing. First one, he figures it out. Second one, he gets it down to a system. Third one, he's got a publishing company. And he's just going to keep rolling. He'll be rolling by the end of the year. He'll be working 3 books up. He'll be just like Paluto. He'll have everything done before he even starts the Indiegogo campaign.
And before we sign off for the night,
and Lewis, them getting in with Chase, at least they're not getting in with Wells Fargo, who has a worse reputation than Chase. But Chase is bad enough, and Chase will shut them off the first minute they smell that they're not making the right amount of revenue. So I don't know how advantageous getting in with them is, outside of the fact that they might have stalled the inevitable unless something drastically changes in the market, both indie and mainstream, in the next couple of years.
So, Randy, what you're seeing here is the map for Motor City Comic Con.
I got to jump back to our live feed. Oh, yeah. Yep.
So this is the entrance, and I'll tell you a funny story. It's a gentleman that came with me, his first Motor City Comic Con.
Is the hotel over to the left or the right?
It's over here.
Okay. Yeah.
Hyatt place at Suburban.
It's way over to our right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Hyatt place at Suburban Collection show play. Okay.
Yep, yeah. The hotel's over there. So he came.
Still looks like a mighty small hotel.
It does, doesn't it? I've never stayed at it, but it does seem pretty small. But I mean, you never know. They do wondrous things in these rooms now. It's a couple levels tall, so
you squeeze them in like Chinese sardines. Yeah.
So a friend of mine, he came to the show, and foolishly he parked in the parking lot. He wasn't listening to me when I told him just come around the back because is where your vendors park. We all park over here.
Uh-huh.
And he parked, well, you see the courtyard here. He parked out there. Imagine that going out a few more.
Yeah. I know how it goes. Yep.
So he says, I said, you need to come around the back of the building to door 7, which is right here. He said, okay, no problem. I'm running now. I told him, I said, don't run. But he didn't hear me. So he says he gets about right here, like the door 11.
Uh-huh.
Before his heart is like,
yeah. That's not a small complex. Yeah.
No. And finally, but it's funny because by the time he gets there, I'm walking out here with his badge. So yeah, I mean, again, this is
still not as big as San Diego.
No. But the cool thing about it, Randy, is that all of this here is new.
All of what? Where?
This square here, I can't really highlight it.
That little square next to where it says Cornerstone?
Where it starts. See these 2 little pillars here? These little three little black pillars, little squares. I can't do anything to them. I can't mark them.
Yeah.
But between aisles J and K,
Okay.
yeah, between aisles J and K, all that's new.
Oh, I can't grab it and enlarge it. I can normally do that on this board,
Let me
but I
see if I
can't.
can make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so from this, you see my cursor?
No, I see it now. Yep.
Everything down this aisle here is new. This registration area they have is new. All this whole thing here they built.
They built off to the side then.
Yeah, yeah. They killed some parking lot. They killed some parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
they need to buy the next 2 plots next to them. That's what they need to do and turn that into parking lot.
Yeah, there's still some parking. There's still no adequate parking, I think, but
not for this event.
Yeah. So what was funny was that when we got there, we can go right in, but we normally go around the back. But because of the situation, we had to go up front one day. We walk in and everyone's in there, but my wife goes out to. We came in the back, and my wife goes out to smoke a cigarette out the back, and so she would go out door 5, and she says, "Wow, there's a lot of people out here. Are you guys all smoking?" And she noticed that they're in line. The line had wrapped
all the way around the building
to the around. You have to understand. That means it goes up and down.
Wow.
And here, and it was still building on.
Cool.
They don't want to send them around the hotel way, so they send them around the building. And I mean, people are just.
Well, yeah. Why block the hotel flow? Sure. Let them work their way all the way back to the front of the building.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm about to get in. No, you're not. Glad it ain't raining today, son.
But the cool thing about breakdown was that I was in aisle E here, and I found that I can go right through these doors here.
Yeah,
and ride to my car.
Boom, boom,
and leave them. And that's what we did. It was super easy.
Please exit the nearest door available.
Oh, I got the heck out of Dodge. I'm gonna tell you, when we broke down, I was table E6. We broke down. I hit those doors right there. Got in my vehicle. Was parked about right here.
And that's what they wanted. They wanted you out of there as quickly as possible.
Oh yeah.
That's what happens to me at the end of the show. We're out of there within an hour. Gone. Yeah, that's the way they like it.
Yep. So they can set up for whatever's coming next, or they can get it clean and ready for the next show. Yeah. So it was, but it wasn't a bad show. I had a lot of fun and
sweet.
I definitely look forward to doing it next year. They built on the convention center looks nice. They built a second floor in this section over here.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Is that where they got panel rooms and stuff now?
Yep. They got panel rooms and
they probably got a long commitment from Goldman before they started building all of that. It's like we can go now.
Yeah,
we're only going to charge him $1 million a year now, and we can build that second story all we want.
Yeah. And I don't know if you noticed, and I might have to go ahead and screen share. And when I was talking about,
I don't know if you noticed that they announced that Charlie Hunnam, I guess, is in talks with Marvel to play Wolverine the day after Motor City.
Yeah.
The day after.
Mm-hmm.
Motor City's done. That Hunnam was a guest at.
Yeah. Do you see?
He didn't say anything, did he?
No. Do you see these here? These little squiggly lines?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all celebrities.
That whole area back there?
Those 6 blocks.
What are the little circles there? Is that tables for their restaurant?
Yeah, for food. Yeah.
Yeah.
But above that, all those little squiggly lines, even these here, that's runoff lines and photo booths. That's for the photos. But all these are table side celebrity meetups.
Oh.
Meet and greets. All that. So when I say they expanded their celebrity section, oh boy, did they.
Well, that means is any ticket buyer coming in can just go to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right. That's all we need to do. To the right, over to the right. There we are. Yep. And forget all these guys back here in the back. Around where those other tables are. Around where you were.
Yeah.
How much crowd did you see? Was it pretty busy at all?
Yeah, it was busy. Believe it or not, the flow was nice. In fact, I had a friend tell me that he was a little jealous Saturday. He felt like we were getting most of the crowd
Huh.
over in that newer section.
Yep. I just got to stand up for a second and stretch, and I don't want folks to have to look at my belly.
And the newer section is columnless.
It's columnless.
Yeah, there's no columns.
Ah. It's all good. While you were at Motor City, I was weeding and taping bunches of vinyls for aisle signs for a store. I do a lot of the signage for a local chain up here. So, I took those in today and collected a check.
I keep saying I got to get up there so I can have
that I promptly deposited in the bank. So
I got to get up there and have Halo Burger.
Yeah. It's not Halo Burger as much as Halo Burger kind of has cheapened up their the quality. They're still good and they still try to stay as local as possible, but the place you want to eat at is freaking unbelievable burger.
Okay.
That is pretty good. Actually, if you really want the best burger in town, there's a little hole in the wall that used to advertise in every issue of Flint Comics, a bar called the Torch. And they have one of those old style flat grills that you used to see in Coney Islands where they have to scrape all the grease down into the trough. That burger is awesome. That they're known for their burger. But they're in such a small bar, it might seat 20. Have most, and the whole bar. You just sit at the bar, order a Torch burger and a Killian's, and there's your meal. Torch burger and some fries and a Killian's, and just sit there and talk. I miss those days. Days.
That's gonna do it for me. I'm going to sign off because I'm gonna get my NyQuil.
I told you to take it before while you were still on the air, so that you can. Well, everybody. I'm just trying to stay awake here.
Let me tell you about a couple of people in the industry that I
know who I don't like. Yeah, there you go. That'll be great. Those will be some strange looks at your next convention.
Yeah, that.
But hey, we might get more than 30 views though if you do that. So.
Yeah. Maybe.
Hey, everybody out there that's still there, tell your friends. Tell us we're up here mostly Tuesdays from 9 on until maybe midnight or sometimes later. Yeah, but we normally do this on Tuesdays.
Yeah, maybe we'll do I'll do a drunk stream.
Drunk stream.
I'll just keep drinking.
We're down to 4 people watching, so it's you, me, Lewis, and maybe Dave the Supreme.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I will talk to you soon. We'll see you maybe even tomorrow. Depends on if
unless you're on it twice. You're on it twice, aren't you? Are you thinking about tomorrow? We could probably do this for an hour or so. We could dig up some more real stuff to talk about as opposed to just blathering on.
Yeah. That tomorrow sounds good. Same time, 9:00.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
All right, guys, let's tune in to Indie Vault Industry Talk. We will see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Thanks for hanging in. Thanks for being here.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you around. Take care.